Greetings and welcome to Unveiling Reality. How's everybody doing out there this evening? Hope you're all doing and living well. Let me start the show off as always by thanking all those awesome people out there in the winner's circle who support the channel. Thank you so much for being part of the solution and supporting this little channel here we have called Winning Reality. Special thanks to Shelly and Wolfram, who support us over on Rumble as well. We are broadcasting live tonight on YouTube, Rumble, and X. And away we go. Tonight on Unveiling Reality, we will talk about surviving and escaping the abyss on the pathway to reality-based truth. And this is something I've been talking about recently, and I feel like I need to do a stream on it just to kind of explain what's going on here and what it's all about, because there's a lot of folks out there, who I think who could benefit from the information and the winning reality. That awesome idea came to me and said, go forth and let them know the information. But let's say hello to this awesome crowd while we that are here out in the front row. Roscoe Treat, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here from Nampa, Idaho, on his Samsung Galaxy, and he is here. Welcome, Roscoe Treat. Happy to have you, brother. I think you'll enjoy this. We're going to do some deep diving tonight. That's what we do on Unveiling Reality. We unveil reality. We go down the rabbit hole, and this is a show I think a lot of people can benefit from that are out there wondering what the hell is going on in this world. All right. We got Heidi saying hello and dropping important information. Thank you so much, Heidi. Thank you for being here. And we got Shelly talking trash and truth. She's still sick, but she's out there wishing everybody hello, greeting them. And she is the hostess with the mostest. Yeah, right. And there is Wolfram. Thank you for dropping these links, my friend. Remember, when you're here, to always listen to the Wolf. He knows what he's talking about. He wipes his paws, he lopes in, and he howls. And that's how you know the alpha mod is in the house. Wolfram, all right. That's all. Cool Gamer. What's up, Cool Gamer? How you doing, my friend? Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. You guys will dig what we got going on tonight. I thought I saw somebody else out there, but I guess I have not seen them yet. But if you're new here, please like and subscribe and share and do all those wonderful things. This is a unique channel, and I think you will find the information that I have for you very, very cool. Hold on one second here. All right. I think we ought to be good now. All right. There we go. Okay. So tonight, Unveiling Reality is a show that's based on the work that I've been doing for a decade and a half. I didn't just get off the boat and come up with these ideas. I've been in the fight for truth for a very long time now. And though this channel is fairly new, I'm not. I've been doing the good work for a long time. And basically trying to understand what is going on in this world in terms of the ideological subversion and mind control, information-based mind control that's going on in this world, that keeps people boxed into these narratives, that keeps our friends and family separated by what the establishment tells them. And for us, the ones who have escaped that narrative, what is next? What is to find out? Along that journey, I discovered that even though I was outside of the establishment narrative, it was a world full of alternative narratives that I would open-mindedly look into and try to figure out, well, maybe this is what the real story is, since I had been lied to and manipulated by the establishment narrative my entire life. And I'm sure many of you feel the same way. We got the base crowd in the house. That's the way we roll here. And so through that journey, what I began to realize over time through different occurrences that have happened and different types of activism I had taken on, that the alternative narrative, or the second, what we call now the second veil, didn't offer any solutions, only a lot of stories and a lot of rabbit holes that never seemed to pan out, never seemed to become much of anything. We're given a bunch of information, and then we're kind of left with it. And if you really start to dig into it, so what I realized, especially through things like the S hook, I'll say S hook since it's early in the show. You guys know what I mean. Staged event crisis actor narrative that went around, and other things like original Q Drake Kent Bailey investigations that my group did way back in the day, and I did it on different platforms, right? And then talk a little bit about the evolution, so the supposed evolution of Facebook, um, and real quick, just real quick because they're getting rid of the fact checkers and the censorship supposedly, right? Hopefully, and they are going to institute community notes. Well, basically, what myself and my group did back in the day was a form of community noting. Really, when I thought about it, I was like, that's what we were doing. We were going out, and our philosophy was to police your own neighborhood, right? So in the Facebook world, you have all your friends and all your acquaintances and other people that have common interests with you, all in that friends list and in your feed, right? And you don't get really outside of that bubble that you're in, the one you create yourself through who you decide to be friends with, right? And what groups you end up joining. And so our philosophy was if we were all working together, right, in our own neighborhoods, we'd reach everybody that way. And that's what we did. And a lot of that had to do with the Ron Paul revolution. But as we went by, I started realizing that these narratives, these rabbit holes, these false, um, a lot of which were false conspiracies and grifts that were going on as I became more sophisticated. And still, I mean, a lot of this is sophistication that have come within the last several years as well. But I started to realize that there was a lot of people out there that were trying to drag down patriots and other people that escaped the establishment narrative. And what I realized was that once you escape the establishment narrative, right, there's no going back. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, right? So all that the establishment can do at that point is try to silence you and discredit you and to cancel you, right? That's the only thing they can do to you once you're outside of their influence. So they make you the bad guy, and then they try to, um, well, let me put it this way. Yuri says it best, and let me just let Yuri tell you real quick what they do.
So that's exactly the martial art tactic. We don't stop an enemy. We let him go. We help him to go in the direction we want them to go.
So I began to suspect that a lot of these, perhaps some of these conspiracy theorists were egged on and enabled by the establishment, knowing that they weren't true, they weren't well researched, and they were going to inevitably discredit the individual that started proclaiming them, and then that would shut off the minds of those in the establishment narrative that they were trying to, you know, wake up, right? As we would call it back in the day, wake up. And so, a lot of thought, a lot of study, a lot of research. And if you see my show, Old School Watch Party Sunday, we have now gone through every single documentary that I want to show that I used that I watched back in the day. And I've gone through and analyzed them and replayed them. A lot of great ones in there, a few that turned into debunkings that didn't age well, and then a few that I just won't show that I don't think are even worth your time. That would be nothing but me stopping it and correcting it the entire time. But they were all influential in a way. And that's why I have a beef about, hold on a second. Um, hold on. Sorry, I just had to fix something here real quick. All right. And so where was I? Where was I? Let me get the comments back up here. So basically, man, I lost my train of thought there. So yeah, so basically we were community noting, right? I think that's where I left off. Community noting back in the day. And so with the censorship and everything that came on Facebook, I decided that wasn't the thing. But anyways, down the road, after putting a lot of thought into it and watching all this documentaries, which I did way back in the day, right? So that's why I can reference the old stuff really easily, and remember where it came from, and that gave me a map of knowing where people kind of go through the second veil, right? Like, what is the steps into this, right? And what is the abyss? And that's what you want to know, right? If you're maybe new here and you're waiting for me to get to the point, this is going to be a deep dive stream. But I will tell you up front what the abyss is the place in the second veil, like outside the establishment narrative, where people end up that never progress past that point, right? And like I said, the second veil or the world of the alternative narratives that are out there, right? There's a lot of them. And like I said, the truth is spread throughout. You have to get into the cracks to find the base truth of reality and what's going on with it. This is what I focused my time and my energy on over the last decade and a half or more now. Probably, I think it's close to 2 decades. I keep selling myself short, but it's because I wanted to figure out why so many people that I knew that were smart and intelligent and that I had love and friendship with over the years suddenly shut down when it comes to things like politics, like trying to explain to them something simply like you should look at what the establishment media is telling you. They're lying to you. This world, of course, back then, false left right paradigm. These Republicans aren't really Republicans. Look at a guy like Ron Paul. You can see the difference, right? This is where this education came from and how it progressed. And so in doing that, I found so much resistance, and it was like it was uncharacteristic of the people that I knew. And I'm sure many of you out there have experienced the exact same thing. And within that, you have this big distrust of government and in the corrupt establishment as well. You should, because the establishment is corrupt. It's corruption that's the problem. I know some people will tell you, well, government, it's government, right? And there's people out there that the government's violent and therefore, but yeah, try to live in this chaotic human world without some kind of organization and some kind of like organized civil protection and services. Your anarcho utopia is just as delusional as the Marxist utopia, right? It's just two extremes, and the sense is that we have to have what we call a base type of government where we can actually have people in there we can trust, but keep an eye on, right? You always want to have a healthy distrust of government, but not to the point where you lose your reality, you lose your base, right? And that is the problem with the abyss, right? That's when people in the second veil have been engaging in so many conspiracies, but they're willing to trust strangers they don't know and they haven't really backed up their research and to confirm their bias now, rather than but just because it's an alternative to what they already distrust. And that is a giant exploit, right? That people can use against other people and that the establishment can use against us, as well as grifters, people that are out there to self-serve. And there's plenty of them out there that are making tons of money right now. And you wonder why are they able to do so well? Why are they able to progress uninhibited, without any type of anything stopping them in their way? Why did the people that put out the griftiest conspiracies out there seem to do so well? And that's because they do the job. They do a job for the establishment in a way. And that is in keeping you from making sense to the people they want to keep under their control, so they have control over that base and they can continue their cycle of abuse and their cycle of control, which is the third and fourth veils. So as I'm talking about this, I should probably just pull this up. And I'm going to deep dive into a lot of this tonight, but I want to talk about the abyss, and because that's the main point here tonight. I don't want to get off track and lose people as we take a look at the veils of perception. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the first and second veils, right? The worlds that we're born into, the establishment narrative. And these are the type of things that you're going to find in there. So if you take a look at this board, what it means is these are just things that you will find in different veils. People in the first veil, in the establishment narrative, which we are all very well versed in, right? We understand these techniques and these topics right here, right? But these are the things that are blasted out as normal, right? These are the things that are blasted out as what is right and what is hip or what is trendy or what is evolution or whatever they want to call it, right? But they put this stuff out there, and if you notice that things are black with green, these are shows that I've done, right? So all these topics that are in black and green here are things that I've covered over the last couple of years on this channel, and the Unveiling Reality playlist will help you find a lot of these. I wanted to go through and grab a lot of these the links to certain shows. So maybe if someone's motivated, they can throw some out there. But as I mentioned them, but the Unveiling Reality playlist, if you just scroll down them, and this and Old School Watch Party Sunday, I've covered all these topics in one way, shape, or form or another, whether it be the prime title of it or a secondary title, or it's a part of the documentary that we covered, like institutional psychology. That would be the Century of Self, right? That series we did on Old School Watch Party Sunday. GMO foods, those are again documentaries that I covered, fluoride water, that stuff like that, right? So I've covered these topics, these part of the cycle of abuse, and I did a whole series on the UFO alien rabbit hole, how it starts, and where it leads you eventually, in the end, right? So that whole ancient aliens rabbit hole, where they start to make you believe that things in the air come from other places, right? And you say, well, it's a big universe, of course it could happen. Yeah, I mean that's true. Doesn't mean it's happened here, right? And we go down. We have to be open minded and think about how what kind of evidence we're being presented. Is it real or not? Are these people that are supposed whistleblowers and so on, are they credible? Are they really that? How much are we taking on faith? That's the whole point of the alien UFO rabbit hole series I did, which you can go check out. I'll have a playlist for that as well. So that's what I talk about when I talk about the establishment narrative and the alternative narratives, in a sense that you'll see ancient aliens over here if you're just an establishment narrative kind of person. That will introduce you to the idea. But as you dive deeper into that idea, you'll find yourself over here more on the conspiratorial end of things and the alternative narrative. Not to say that conspiracies aren't real. I believe conspiracies are real. I believe they're a part of life. I believe conspiracies happen every day, right? I just don't think they're as hard to understand as people make them out to be, and that they're very open. Most of the ones that are real are very open and very available to you. Like, for instance, I say this every time, right? Agenda 2030, 21, 2030. These are ones we've been talking about for decades, right? This is an open conspiracy. It's very real. And you can go to either one of these websites, UNWEF, and read all about it. They'll tell you exactly what they're going to do to you and why, right? Now, they'll dress it up in a virtuous way, in a altruistic way, and make it sound like it's the greatest thing on earth. But underneath all is enslavement and authoritarianism, right? As they believe people are property. So if you can follow me on this, right? You follow me on this, you'll see that this idea, rooted in evil, right? Darkness, destruction, uh, believes that enslavement and the people are property, and authoritarian and superiority and totalitarianism, right? Is a good idea. They believe that's what they are supposed to be doing. This elitist mind virus that they have, this elitism they have, this global ownership class, right? So that's just an example of what I'm talking about in terms of where a lot of these narratives come from. But when you're down in the abyss, right? I got to keep on track here because I'll get lost in this board. When you're down in the abyss is when you believe that nothing is real anymore, and you don't have any solutions, and you succumb to the point of the second veil, which is you live in a state of fear, and you're always on defense. And you don't have any solutions. So what do? You get out there and you just talk about it, and you eventually find yourself surrounded by people that are confirming that bias, right? They've done little research, though they'll think that they've done a lot because, well, it's not what the establishment says. It's the opposite, right? So therefore, it's the truth. But that's not necessarily true. And the thing about the second veil is that a lot of people don't know that there's a second awakening. So if you would call your escape from the establishment narrative of the first veil, your awakening, right? When I woke up, my awakening process of realizing that these people were lying to me, abusing me, information-based mind control, all that stuff, like, we talk about, and that how all these things are subversive, right? In order to demoralize our society, right? And to manufacture consent for their agenda, right? With people living in ignorance. So you see how I build this out, right? And so people that escape this and understand it naturally want to kind of bring people with them, but you find a resistance, and that is the mind control of the first veil. But you find yourself after leaving that in a world where you don't know what to believe anymore. And that's where you could fall victim. You could fall victim to the second veil, right? But the point of the second veil is to teach you more. And that's what I want you to understand. It's no shame in it. I've been here. I'm here to tell you, I've been here. I entertained all these ideas. That's why I know about them. I did the research on them. That's why I know about them. I gave them all a chance. Open minded. That's my rule. I give them all a chance, right? I'd look into them. But then I started developing techniques to understand whether or not um, the person that was conveying the information was credible and worthy of my trust. And that's why I want to express to and challenge anyone who's still stuck in believing a lot of these things that are going on in the second veil. Like, when was the last time you vetted this idea? Has this idea progressed? I mean, if we're in an awareness state, naturally, the research and the dedication to exposing it should progress to a point where it is exposed. And in a lot of cases, people talk about conspiracy theorists approved, right? They're not usually talking about these things right here on this board, right? These are the rabbit holey things that are like, nobody ever proved this was right, right? In fact, we proved that it was very wrong, and the damage it did to other people is it was very, very evil in a sense, right? We found that all these things right here have been. I still got to do a show for you guys on the mud flood and rebooting history. That one will be fun. We'll do that one later on in early in the year here. We'll have that one for a fun little unveiling reality night where I do old school way, but I'll do a like a throwback episode where I just go into a topic and talk about like a wild conspiracy about the world. But anyways, but as you can see, these things never work out, right? And even our concept of what the New World Order is has been skewed in the second veil, right? What the New World Order is, well, I'm not supposed to say that word, right? I'm supposed to say something else, like, but it really is, it's a globalist conspiracy. And it really is just this right here. It really is just Agenda 20. It's really just is the UN and WEF. That's what it is, right? But if you were to listen to some of the people who express their opinions about it in the alternative narrative, you may believe that it's an actual thing, like a physical group, right? You may not just an idea, not just an economic idea about how the economics of the world should be put together. But when you dig into the history of it, you understand that it really, a lot of people have had this idea. It's a big idea, right? George Bush talked about it. Adolf Hitler talked about it. Numerous people. There's always a new world, or an order of a world that's new, or whatever you want to say. There's always somebody always has one. Someone's always trying to get one in play. So it's not that you're going to expect some kind of army to come marching down the street with these badges on them, and that's the name of it's called. It's just an idea of how a certain group wants things. But if you're down in this rabbit hole, you may believe that it's something else, right? And you may believe the Illuminati is some group of George Soros and the Zionists and all kinds of other people that are this. It's just a Hollywood cult right now. It's just they use the idea to get over on people because, like I said, your distrust of the establishment, which is healthy, and the distrust of the government, which is healthy, is a blind spot for us, for people like us. It's a blind spot because it's already there. And believe me, our enemies know this blind spot well. And so do people who want to take advantage of you. They know this blind spot well. They know how to throw out the keywords to you. They know how to do that. So what ends up happening is you end up living in fear and staying on defense. But you just got to ask yourself one thing: how many of these people are offering real solutions to these problems? How many people are really exposing any of this as truth, right? For people that are stuck, are in the abyss, are stuck in the abyss, something like flat earth becomes entertainable, right? Where it's been more than proven that the earth is round. Yet now, because they've been lied to so much, they may start to entertain this, and they will quickly find themselves surrounded by people who will confirm this bias and try to bring them in, right? I've told the story before. Hey, Memento, how's it going? I've told the story before about Red Pill Philosophy, right? Red Pill Philosophy was a channel that was around 10 years ago, and probably sooner than that, but not really around anymore, right? I can't remember the dude's name, and I'm not going to say it. Whatever, the dude, right? And he was a really base Trump supporter, right? He did a lot of great streams during 2016. He was always putting stuff out there. He was making good sense. He was a little bit on the I don't know, what do you call it? Red pill side. I guess that's why it's red pill philosophy. The manosphere kind of guy. A little bit, not a whole lot, a little bit, kind of cocky. Cuban guy that lived down in Florida, right? And but good guy. Put out some T-shirts that were pretty cool, and I'd listen to him a lot. And then he started entertaining this idea about flat Earth, right? And he started, and he fell for it. And then he just went off the deep end and lost all credibility. But he quickly found his streams and his content and himself uh, surrounded by these people like quickly because they always want to confirm bias, right? And what I've done tonight here is I've broken down a lot of this board into pieces to help us understand what the abyss is and how to escape it, right? It's about surviving it and escaping it because on your path to the real truth about the real truer nature of reality, this is just a test. And I want you to understand that and be humble and challenge yourself. If you're so open minded and you're such a truth seeker, this should be easy stuff, right? This should be enjoyable, actually. It should be like, cool, I'm glad we're talking about this stuff. But you'll find a lot of people that are very entrenched uh, in their new belief system since they've abandoned the old one, right? Which is good. And it's good that you're out of the establishment narrative. But now they've found a home with all these things becoming reality when actually a lot of them are just grifts. Like it's the truth. If you want a real conspiracy, look no further than the cycle of control over here. These are all real conspiracies, all right? Everything over here, you can find a real conspiracy in, right? And all of these things that enable these real conspiracies, right, are out there because the cycle of abuse powers the cycle of control, right? It does that by abuse the young, break the future. That means you have corruptible people at the ready, demoralized people that have no balance and no base in life and reality and morality that are ready to do these awful things and engage and enable these awful things that hurt other people, oftentimes unknowingly. Like a lot of our brothers and sisters trapped in the establishment narrative, the first veil, right? Actively participate and actively enable and vote for these harmful things without knowing that they're really harmful. But that is the tragedy of demoralization. That is the harm of the cycle of abuse. And that's what enables the worst amongst us, the elitist amongst us, the elite, the global ownership class and others that participate and become their useful idiots to generationally dominate us. And that's the point of solution culture and what we talk about here is we want to learn to see through these veils so that we can pull them down. Right? That's the point. And I don't think a lot of people get that. Or, oh, you're just doing this, you're just doing that. No, man. I was there. I've been there with you. And I've entertained the ideas. But I go into it knowing that I am entertaining the ideas. Right? I will entertain the ideas. I will let my mind go to those places so that I can understand the mindset of those things. Right? But I did spend some years believing some of this stuff and escaping them is a very healthy thing to do. And it will make you more powerful in the fight. It will make you stronger and it'll make you more confident in the solutions. So that's why I'm doing this show. It's for the people out there that need to hear it. And for my crowd here, that a lot of them are based, and some of you guys didn't have to really experience the second awakening, right? Which is an interesting thing too to me as well. Maybe some of you didn't get caught in this abyss, where you just kind of blew past it, and now you're here with me, and I'm giving you the roadmap. And that's why I started the channel, was to roadmap people past the potholes of the second veil, and perhaps reach a few people in the first veil. It's really tough. My solution for the first veil is more about the generational fix, right? But really, when it comes to the second veil, it's about helping people realize that these grifters that are out here doing a lot of this dirty work here, they don't have answers and solutions for you, right? But I'm going to provide solutions for you in the form of solution culture, where we take the generational approach to fix the world, and we take on the responsibility right now as the adults in the world, right, to fix the problems that haven't been fixed, to stop the cycle from continuing. That's what solution culture is about. I'm going to get into that more later. So this introduction right now is just to prime you for what we're about to talk about. In that, what is the abuse? I mean, what is the abyss, right? And how do you escape it and survive it? And what's the point of it, right? That's the second awakening. Right? The second awakening is where you're going to move past you're going to move past the narratives, right? You're going to move past it into a more based approach, right? And you're going to move past it into a solution minded mindset, a solution mindset, right? You're no longer living in fear and just huddling into silos and echo chambers of people that regurgitate terms and when they can't explain, say they have evidence when they don't. When say believe that there are things out there that aren't. There's people out there right now that believe that there are transdimensional beings, reptilians, that feed off of you, your energy, right? And they live in now for a moment, everybody, just put yourself in that person's shoes. Like one of my sayings, one of the things that I say a lot, I came up with a long time ago. Where did I put it? Is it over here? Where did I put this? I might have put it right here in solution culture. I probably did. Oh yeah, here it is. Empathy can change the world, right? It means a lot of things to me, right? And to always lead with love and empathy and respect. Great saying. Great saying. Do it, right? But empathy can change the world. So one way of doing that is by understanding what the condition of others day in and day out. But imagine what it's like to walk around believing that out of your reach, right? And this is the David Icke stuff right here. And a lot of David Icke's made a lot of money. He's made a lot of money. He's a very popular guy. He's written a bunch of books. People buy him, right? And they seem to forget he thinks that there's transdimensional beings sucking energy off of this from another dimension. No evidence of it, none at all. Yet people have adopted this in their belief system. That's living in fear. Can you imagine what it's like to believe there are transdimensional reptiles feeding off your energy at any moment, right? Well, if they were, living in fear would feed them, right? It would feed them. So, in David's work, and I've listened to hours of his lectures. Like I'm not sitting here preaching about, you're some kind of person for believing this stuff because I've been down these roads. I've been to the Georgia Guidestones. I've seen them. I've touched them. Before they got blown up, right? I saw the FEMA camp videos when they first came out. They were scary, right? Pretty scary stuff. I used to believe in all the alternative narratives about 9/11, right? And if you ever seen my Loose Change show on Old School Watch by Sunday, you'll see how I broke that down. I also have a playlist that says degrifting the planned what's goddamn what I call it? Basically planned demolition in 5 videos. And basically, what I do is supply you with 5 videos that weren't available at the time of the loose change era, and at the time, people that were going on and on about the fact that this had to be a planned demolition, because of the way the buildings came down. When you understand the architecture of the buildings, right, and then you go into the circumstantial evidence that was put together to create that narrative, you soon begin to form a different opinion about it, right? Unfortunate event, but when you understand how the buildings were made and how they were impacted, then you understand that it was completely possible that they happened the way they did. But I, like everybody else, when I saw them come down like that, I believed it. And I believed it for a long time. All right. But I kept asking questions. That's what I'm asking you to do right now tonight. If you're one of the people that are still have a lot of questions about this stuff, or still think that some of this stuff is real, when was the last time you checked in on it? When was the last time you went back and revetted yourself? In this world of disinformation, we have to do that in order to stay based. Otherwise, we can have our blind spot used against us. Distrust of the establishment, the corrupt establishment, we should distrust it, but they will use that blind spot against us to make us believe anything. Because once they discredit us, we're not going to get to these people. We're not going to break their main food source, which is our friends, our family, our neighbors, right? The ones lost in the first veil. We won't do that. So when you're in the second veil, you may experience well, this goes like this. When you stare into the abyss too long, the abyss stares back at you, right? You find yourself looking out of the abyss instead of looking into it. That's the way the abyss works. And for so many people that have never found or never gone back and questioned their initial research, or whoever they got the story from, the initial research, I've done a lot of that on the Unveiling Reality series. right? They're all there. That's why these things are black and green. That's means I've covered all of these, right? I've gone through them for you and I've done the research for you. So all you have to do is roadmap through me, and I'm going to help you do what it took me decades to do. Excuse me, right? I'm going to speed you up because I'm an old schooler and I've been in this for a long time. Maybe some of you guys are new to it. Like for instance, let me talk to the crowd real quick. Hey guys, sorry, I'm doing my thing where I talk a lot. Like this is old school, right? Throwback. But I'm trying to explain a very complicated thing. But in a minute, I'm going to get very concise. So hang with me through this, because I've done some new stuff now that I've never done before with this topic, and you guys are going to be part of it. And I've enlisted the help of an assistant that has made things very concise and very interesting too. I gotta say, but for people like Shelly, let me just call Shelly out. And Memento, what's up? Toy, I see you out there. How you doing? Simple Prepper, what's up, my friend? How you doing? 357, what's up? What's up? I hope you're feeling better. Memento Mori, did I say hi to you? Well, I should have. How you doing, my friend? How you doing? There he is. All right. Um, but let me throw Shelly up here real quick, because Shelly is an example of somebody who was firmly entrenched in her in the establishment narrative not too long ago, right? But because of we met, right? Because we know each other, and because of what I'm doing here, she's been able to transition through the second veil quickly, right? Now she's gone and watched most of these in fact, all of these documentaries with me. In fact, the show that we do, we started together, right? When we watched Freedom to Fascism by Aaron Russo, which is a great kickoff. One of the very first documentaries I ever watched, woke me up, introduced me to Ron Paul. I've had Gary Franchi, who the Next News Network on, who was a protege of Aaron Russo's, who's that's the reason he has what he has going on today, right? Shout out to Gary Franchi, Next News Network. But Shelly is an example of someone who has come into all this information within the last several years, right? And she's been going at lightning speed, and she's able to absorb the information and understand it. But she's had the roadmap. So a lot of for I don't know how many of you guys out there this applies to as well. Maybe I've helped roadmap some of you guys through some of this stuff, but I know that there's a lot of people out there that are still trapped in this second veil, right? And they'll come fight me over it. They'll come fight me. They'll leave because I don't agree with them. I don't confirm their bias. And like I say every week, I won't confirm your bias, but I will walk with you to the truth. I will walk with you to the truth. Well, look at me just dancing all over the place. All right. Yeah, there we go. I will walk with you to the truth, right? And that's what I'm trying to do here with the series and what I've done through all the videos that I've made in this series. And I want you to know I'm do this in a very humble way, right? I'm not out to I don't want people to get egoed out about this, right? And think that I'm thinking I'm better than you are, no more than you. I've just been doing this a long time, and the reason why I put this out is because I want to help you, because I think you got what it takes, right? And if you've come this far, if you've come as far as the second veil, you can keep going, right? You don't have to stop right here with all these things that are going on, right? So let's talk about the abyss, and let's talk about the second veil, right? And here comes the really interesting part. I'll get off of this real quick. That's my long-winded intro to everything. And I want you guys just to kind of know where I'm coming from, know why I do what I do, know my experience, although I could go on and on about that. But if you've been around a while, you know what it is. I'm not this fresh off the boat. I'm not making this shit up. I don't come at it from a place of, okay, now buy I might write a book one day. Maybe I will. I mean, maybe I should, but I don't have a profit agenda here. I mean, I'd love to make money and support myself on this channel, but if I can just wake people up, I can help people out. That's why I started it, right? That's really what the point of it is. And I think if you do that, you do the good work, then maybe you're able to take care of yourself that way. I don't know. I still have my day job. I still have plans to do things that aren't this, right? But and I'll still be here for you. But I believe that it takes an effort, the people who have the information, to give the information to others to help all of us in the long run. And I'm in it for the long fight. I'm in it for the generational battle. I know that there's no quick answers, no easy answers to any of this, right? What's happened to our world. It took a long time to corrupt it, and it's going to take generations to fix it. But we have to be the ones that start it. So if I can motivate you and I can inspire you, if I can make your journey better, easier, more understandable, then you know what? Everything's right and it's worth it. to me at least. So let me get back to this, right? Let me get back to what we're going to talk about tonight. And boy, do I have some cool stuff for you. Now, I did something very interesting today. In fact, I didn't even have this planned at first, but now I went in and did this before the show, and I started going, you know what? This has got to be it, man. I started taking screenshots of my board I just showed you, right? And I started feeding it into well, I was going to feed it into Claude, but I ran out of tokens because I was using it for work. But so I fed it into Grok, and Grok kicked ass. I gotta tell you, man. So we're gonna go through this together real quick. But what I want to start with was its take on well, okay, you just heard me talk about we'll do it this way. We're gonna the abyss is coming, believe me. The point of this video is about this stream is about what it says in the title, but we have to walk into it. A lot of times on Unveiling Reality, we have to walk into what we're talking about. Let me talk to the crowd real quick one more time before I got to get into this mode. But let me just pull this up on the screen. We got something coming up here. Maybe I should do it like this instead. I do that old. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. All right. So, and how can you guys see that? Okay. I'm gonna move this screen before I'm not gonna do the I'm holding my phone view for very long, right? But I want to go back to the crowd real quick because you guys make it happen. Let me say here, the problem is that some people have the need to believe in things which can make them vulnerable. Yeah, and the distrust too, right? Which makes them strong in one way, but also exploitable in another. And that's why I want to talk. That's why I want to reach out to my friends, right, that are out there that are still hanging on to some of these things, right? And invite you to readdress them, right? Just revet them. That's all we're going to do tonight. And I got tons of videos out there where I have gone through each one of these topics. So if one of these were very interesting to you, like MK Ultra or Project Blue Beam or freaking, anything Stephen Greer's talking about, the damn Disclosure Project or any of them, I've gone through all those already. And so they're out there. They're maybe old, maybe a little bit rough, but the information is there. I pull up a lot of resources. I create playlists to go with them. They show you my resources. And in most cases, if not, you can get the titles of the video and go watch them yourself. You can see where I'm coming from. And I convey my experience through the all this. And I do talk about the board quite a bit as well. So if you're interested in this topic, if you're interested in what the hell is going on in this world, behind, what is the real true nature of reality and all this stuff, that's what this series is about. Um, Simple preface is this whole segment on a documentary that showed how inadequacy they fireproof the Twin Towers. How inadequately they did. Yeah, they didn't. That series, that quick playlist that I did on that, man, it's eye opening. I went through it on a different show. I think it was on. I may have done it at. Okay, if you find the loose change one I did, right? I followed the following show I did after the loose change was a follow up with that five videos that totally debunks, degrifts the planned implosion narrative, right? And it's just the fact that the people at the time didn't have the information that's in these videos, right? So they rushed out with their eyes, right, and what they could find and piece together a story, and it took off like wildfire. I mean, I bought it forever. So, do believe me, when no answers come about, you come back to seeing how things. If one of the planes, I think the North Tower, had actually hit higher, it wouldn't have collapsed. That's one of the things I talk about in this video. Is like it was the weight of this where it hit and the way the building was built that caused that thing to come down the way it did, right? And so it goes through all that stuff. And yeah, but you're right. It wasn't fireproofed well. It wasn't built to sustain. It was built to sustain a hit from a 727, not a 747. That's another thing too. Most people kind of blaze past that. Well, it was built to take a hit from an airplane. Yeah, but think about when it was built. What kind of airplanes do they have then? Right? So there's that. Dude, when I can see black and green, I think of you. I got you. I got it in my brain. All right. Woohoo. Black and green, baby. That's the winning way. I am the color green in a world of black and white. And I actually what I say, I'm the color green in a world of gray. Okay. See, Treat says, I revisited my life thus far daily and still find myself functioning the same way. It's like a New Year's resolution. Make the list, the plans, and the consequences change your life to change your life and fail. or you succeed, right? Or you succeed. Jersey Girl, best song ever. Thank you. I can't take credit for that one, but I can take credit for finding it and making a video about it. The intro songs though are mine. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for throwing that out for Gary Franchi. Appreciate that. My brother Gary, the good Gary. We call him good Gary around here. He's good Gary. There's good Gary and there's bad Gary. All right. Anything else before I get on to getting? Let's see. I found another way. Sure, sometimes in the past still outweighs the present and the future. I still never give up. Don't give up. I was talking about this before the show with Shelly. I was like, I'm going on a big learning curve right now. I've been talking about this for a year, but I see the end of my career coming, my current career, right? Being replaced, technology, the things that I do, it's happening, right? And I knew it was happening a while ago. I didn't dive in deep enough, but I had the ideas. I saw the vision. I had the vision. And so this New Year's, I made the resolution, I guess, not the resolution, it's like survival instinct, maybe, that I was going to go ahead and do what I did 10, 15 years ago, whatever it was, and change careers. And I'm going to go back and do what I did then to make that happen. And that is, made me change what I'm doing on a daily basis, right? That I'm diving in deep, deep, deep to the topics and the learning curves that I need in order to push myself in the new direction. And it's already starting to pay off. As you can see right here, as we're getting ready to take a look at what we're doing, it's already starting to pay off. They're paying off in my day job, my contracts that I have, things that I'm working on. I'm still in my old career, but I have to prepare to shift. And I want to not just shift, I want to ride that wave, and I want to do better than I ever have done before in my life, right? When I shifted into my last career, I said, within a year and a half, I'm going to shift into this new career. I'm going to make $100,000, right? I mean, within 2 years. And I did it in a year and a half. So, and I had a lot of motivation. He's a little guy, little dude in my hands, right? A lot of motivation to do it. But I figured out a way to make it work. So you can too. Just believe me. Just like with this stuff we're talking about tonight, right? You may think that you've reached the end of the rabbit hole, right? But I'm going to take you to the other side if you let me. If you just, give it a chance, right? I'll show you everything that I've been through. I've walked the same path as you, right? I've walked the same path as you. I understand where you stand today. I've been there. If you're still lost and confused out there in the second veil, I will pull you through the darkness. I'll reach you up. I will reach down to the abyss and pull you out. And I will show you what the next step is, right? It's all right there. And I say this in a very theatric way for fun, right? But I'm not being cocky. I'm just saying, hey, look, humbly, right? I get it. I get it. All right. And that's why I started with my channel. That's why I put together the board, the veils of perception. And I've done all the things I've tried to do. And I've come up with this concept called solution culture. So there's a place to go for solutions to fix this stuff. Right. And in the end, the truth will win. Goodness will win. It will prevail. Go to online Uber. Have a great day. Hey, drive safe out there, Simple Prepper. Thank you for being here and being part of it. I hope you'll catch the rewatch or listen to the rest of it because I think you'll find it very interesting. And keep on doing all that good things that you're doing out there, man. We appreciate it. You see, he's part of solution culture because he's trying to make sure people that their electronic stuff, their electronics won't go down in case of an EMP, whether it be from the sun or from an enemy or some kind of weird thing we haven't even thought of yet. But he's thinking solution minded. He's thinking solution minded out there. Okay, we're all the way down there at the end. We all have fear. It keeps us alive. It keeps us alive, but it can also keep us bottled up. It can also keep us frozen, right? Well, we don't want to be as frozen. We want to use it as motivation. I think that's what you're trying to say there, 357. I think that's what you're trying to say. So let me pull this up and let's get to it. All right, I'm going to go like this, and I might even go like this. I think I'm going to go like this. I know I'm way down in the corner, but whatever. All right. So what I did was I threw my initial board out there, and I let it take a look at it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to break this down into pieces. So let's just quickly go through what an AI looks at my board and sees, right? And so all I said was, here's a better look at the first and second veils. What am I doing here? That's all I asked. I just want to see what did we come up with, right? And I thought the description, that's just the first, there you go. You see the screenshot. I thought the description was pretty good. So based on the detailed visual representation of the first and second veils of the veils of perception diagram you shared, it seems you are engaged in an analytical exploration of how language and narrative shape societal perceptions and control. Here's what you're doing in this context: analyzing control of language, which is really at the top here, which was in the it's one of the main points that exists in the first second veil, the controlling the language, controlling the narrative. It's a root cause issue. So it was up there, but let's see what it says. You're examining how various sectors like the entertainment industry, music industry, government policies, and social media use language to establish and maintain certain narratives. The, this includes the understanding of how terms and concepts like feminism, racism, sexism, Marxism, wokeism are employed to influence public perception, often leading to ideological subversion. Pretty damn good, huh? Pretty good. Um, I'm a two-job person. Don't confuse. I sort of there you go, Roscoe. I know you're a DJ and you got a DJ and you're a DJ and you do other things too. Um, I don't think I know what your other job is, but you don't have to tell me if you don't want. See the understanding establishment narratives, first veil. You're delving into the mainstream or establishment narratives, which are often propagated through establishment channels like Hollywood, media, and government. These narratives aim to subvert the young by changing cultural norms through elements like drug culture, sexual orientation movements, political correctness, and political correctness, leading to broader societal changes like demoralization and ideological subversion. I mean, dude, I should have just like read that, right? You guys would have been like, oh, the first 50 minutes of this guy talking. Um, Exploring alternative narratives, the second veil, right? So there you go. On the other hand, you're also investigating how alternative narratives challenge or exist parallel to establishment's control. These include conspiracy theories, secret societies, and fringe movements like Flat Earth or QAnon, which may serve to keep individuals in a state of fear or on defense, thus destabilizing conventional understandings or creating manufactured opposition. And that's exactly right. That's what it does. That's what it ends up doing. That's why you have to move beyond it, right? You have to move beyond it to solution culture, because when you free yourself from the second veil, when you have your second awakening, as in there's a lot of people that are just throwing out ideas, all right? And there's a lot of people that just grasp onto them and they never leave them. They never leave them. They don't care if there's results or not. They don't care if there's a solution or not. That's the way it is, and that's the way to like it. Of course, they'll never be able to explain to you how MK Ultra works, but they'll run off and not listen to you if you don't agree with them. Um, Identifying mechanisms of influence. You're identifying specific mechanisms through which narratives operate, such as manufactured consent, manufactured division, and manufactured opposition. These terms suggest a deliberate effort to shape public opinion, create divisions, or foster opposition for control or distraction purposes. Yes, and that enables what? These are all abusive things, right? These are all abusive things, and that keeps the bad guys in charge and in power. It also facilitates the corrupt individuals they need to be useful idiots for them, right? To easily trigger them with words, to use the control of language, to send them into a rampage, to make them believe the slander campaigns they put out about people like Donald Trump, right? To make them believe that there is never going to be a good way to do things. Therefore, give up, be apathetic, dial it in, pray for the destruction of all. Let it all happen. Right? They create apathy to this as well. Creating critiquing cultural manipulations. Your exploration seems to critique how culture is manipulated through these veils, with a focus on how youth are targeted, subvert the youth. God, this grok, you just like you come to every stream um, to change the culture over time. And it does. It's a generational warfare. It's generational war. That's what I try to explain, right? This includes tactics like demoralization through narratives that might undermine traditional values or destabilize societal structures. Absolutely. So, as you're confusing kids about their gender and you're convincing them that it's okay to make permanent changes to their bodies, you're creating a demoralized person that will not live up to their potential and that will become a corrupt individual or a broken individual later on down the road, who may become a criminal or may become a useful idiot or may become a fierce opponent, which is the other side of it. Excuse me one second. Many of these children that have been hurt by this current demoralization campaign, this critical race, critical gender, critical theory, this cultural Marxism in our society today, right? This creeping corruption, this creeping demoralization, they will become tomorrow's anti-establishment. Believe it or not, they will come. Some of these kids will come back with a vengeance. Some of them will go too far. Some of them will become some of the most staunch enemies of the establishment and the people who did this to them. Hopefully, we have it corrected by then. They don't have to, but and they're already happening. By the way, connecting to broader concepts. You're connecting these veils to broader philosophical and psychological concepts like Plato's cave, suggesting an allegory for how people might be kept in ignorance or illusion by these narratives, akin to being chained in a cave, seeing only the shadows of reality. Man, I love this guy. All right. So, in essence, you're dissecting how language, narratives, and cultural elements are used to control, divide, and manipulate societal perceptions, aiming to understand the depths of influence these mechanisms have on individuals and collective consciousness. This analysis is likely part of a larger exploration into how to transcend or counteract these influences, as hinted by the progression through the veils towards solution oriented culture in your previous discussions. Gotta love this guy. All right. So I asked the question, what do you think happens to people who get stuck in the second veil, and how could one learn to see through the second veil? Now, I have my take on this, right? I should talk like this when I'm talking. And when I'm not reading, I got to remember to do my little work here. All right. So I have my own take on this, right? And I've had my own take on it a while. That's why I got the show. That's why I got the board. That's why I've done all the things I've done, right? Um, so I asked the question because I wanted to get another opinion on it, like to someone who's actually understands the board and you know, and something, an AI, but another opinion on what would an AI think of this, right? And right now it's nailing it because all it does is process information. And it's not, you can see right now, it's not being biased in any way. It's not trying to be woke. It's not trying to be any kind of weirdness. It's just really spitting out what it sees. So I must be onto something. So oftentimes I wonder if I'm able to reach people with my complication, right? My complicated way of my complicated approach. I might lose some people. I hate losing people on this. I really want to try to explain it in the best way I possibly can. I keep working at it. I keep showing up. I keep making the mistakes. I keep trying to learn from them so that eventually one day I'll be able to concisely just nail this thing down and explain every little bit of it in a perfect way that could reach the most people, right? Trying to broaden my audience as far as who I can reach. And so anyways, this is helping out. So good on you, Grog. Thanks for helping. And let's listen to some more of this. Um, all right. So I asked the question, what do you think happens to people who get stuck in the second veil? And how could one learn to see through the second veil? And this is before I even introduce the concept of the abyss yet to it. So let's go through this and say people who get stuck in the second veil labeled as alternative narratives often find themselves in a state of perpetual skepticism or paranoia, right? This is what I'm talking about, living in fear. This is without me, saying anything to it. Here's what typically happens. All I did was ask a question. Perpetual skepticism. Individuals might become overly skeptical of mainstream narratives to the point where they distrust all forms of establishment information, leading to a life where they're constantly questioning reality without a stable foundation of what to believe. And that's the thing, is that there are, like I said, there are bits of truth that come through, right? Not everything that comes across any channel is all, completely narrative driven, right? That they always pivot to the narrative, but they have to work off facts to do that. So the fires in California, God bless those people. I hope they're safe. I hope everybody gets what they need to rebuild out there. I probably didn't say it enough last night. And I apologize. I should have. I was just doing a bit and I was having some fun, but I didn't. I should have taken a moment to pay my respects and to and wish them well. So best to them. But that's a real thing that's happening, right? It's a fire. That's a real thing. People are suffering. There's damage going on. There's circumstances happening, right? There's people that are displaced or having to rebuild. They've lost everything. This is a very sad moment, right? We should have empathy for those people, right? But at the same time, the bit I was doing, right, was talking about this exact thing, right? How people who are become so perpetually skeptical, all right? And I was doing a bit, I was just playing along. Sorry, my nose is itching. That they may become so skeptical of everything that they see, whether no matter what the source is, right? Local news, right? Local news is definitely not part of the, they may get their talking points handed down to them through the AP wire, um, but they're definitely not, high elitist prostitutes like you'd find on MSNBC or CNN or any of those places, even Fox News. But they're so skeptical that they see something like that and they think that that's, some kind of conspiracy or somebody's behind it, right? And that was what I was trying to make, the point I was trying to make through through uh uh through comedy, right? Through just plain comedy, right? And so let's see. Uh They just trust all forms. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say there. Perpetual skepticism. Skepticism, healthy skepticism is a good thing. Perpetual skepticism leads you into a dark place, right? So you have to learn how to discern information correctly. And that's why I'm over here now. That's why the trivium is key, right? That's why the trivium is key. And that's why it's part of solution culture, because through the trivium, you apply logic, nice, cold, never unbending logic, right? That tells you how a proper premise is formed, and how to spot a false premise, how to spot logical fallacies in stories, right? This arms your mind. It's a mental antivirus. And that's why I propose, and that's why I promote the idea of getting this back into schools and do early education. If we can teach kids all this other stuff, why can't we teach them the trivium and about logical fallacies and false premises? Do you understand how much that could protect an individual and how that could change the culture if just that one element, just that, if I just get that through, right? Jan Irvin, I think it's the top video in Unveiling Reality, actually, the very first one that I put in this playlist. My interview with the man who brought the trivium back to light for generations, right? I got him on a rare interview. The guy doesn't do interviews anymore. I got him on, right? We had a beautiful conversation. Jan is an awesome person. I do reach out to him occasionally and make sure he's all right and say hello and God bless. And we celebrated the Trump victory together, and that was awesome. But he did it. He did some hard work back then, man. And he learned a lot along the way too about the world and other things. He did some hard work, but one of the greatest things he's ever done is reintroduce the trivium. And I watched his trivium episode multiple times, like so many times. Like I shared it everywhere because it was so powerful that if you understood these logical fallacies, that you could pick through the establishment narrative and completely tear it apart. And you could do the same thing with conspiracy grifting narratives, right? The alternative narratives that are conspiracy grifts. Now, on each side, there's going to be some truth in there that you need to find, right? They're going to need to find truthful sources. And hopefully those truthful sources stay based, and they make sure that they're always evolving as well, right? That's why it's always important to keep learning, no matter how important you think you are, or how much work you got going on, or whatever the thing is, right? Always keep knowing. You can never stop learning. There's always more to learn. If I had stopped learning, 10, 15 years ago, I'd be walking around in the abyss too, thinking everything was out to get me, and there was no hope, right? Everything was a lie, and now I'm questioning the shape of the earth and shit. So, you know, things like that. Let's get back to it. So, the next thing it says echo chambers. Okay, this is what I talked about a little bit too. Another quality of being in the abyss is that you find yourself in what you think is an open-minded crowd, right? Really what you're in is an echo chamber. And I use the story of red pill philosophy and the flat earth. And another person I can add to that story is that comedian. And every time I bring him up, I forget his name. He used to be on Crowder. God, why do I keep hitting that? I'm going to delete it. I used to be on Crowder. Benjamin, help me out, guys. I'm looking at you, my awesome crowd that's out there. Benjamin, he's a comedian. He was on Crowder. He started believing the moon landing. We believed the moon landing was fake, and then all of a sudden the flat Earth. Like that's the key thing. If you think the moon landing was fake, the flat earthers love you and they'll come find you and they'll indoctrinate you. So be careful. I like the band Trivium. All right, that's a good name for a band. Yes, small ones are victories to bring momentum to bigger victories, yet some are the most important ones. Yeah, small victories are still victories. Yep. There are more successes that make me have a little hope. For instance, the fight against fluoride. Yes, yes, I love that, man. We're winning that one. And drinking water has had some success lately, man. We gotta make sure it keeps on having success. I mean, honestly, you remember that guy, what's his name, Corey? He thinks he knows the guy Corey that came by here trying to sell his book and tried to pretend like he was just trying to have Corey is nature, or nature is the answer, or whatever. Some that dude who's like anarchist, new age anarchist or whatever, and he's just sells books. And well, his one of his authors he brags about being part of collaborating with, got a gig with RFK Jr. And I saw he put out a video today that says why I don't want RFK Jr. to make America healthy again. This is a guy who's always talking about natural food and natural intelligence. And now that there's actually someone in there that's going to do some stuff and do some good, he's against it. He's against it. That's a different kind of abyss right there, man. That's a different kind of one. He's all trapped down. I was just like, everything, don't you? You know it all. You know it all. But anyways, let's get back to it. Yeah, so yeah, success, fluoride, GMOs, getting the poison out of our foods. Yes, I want RFK Jr. to make America healthy again, and I want him to use the government to do it. And you ain't nothing you're gonna do about it, Corey. All right? I like giving that kid a hard time. He's young. He'll learn. He'll learn. I think he'll learn. He seems pretty motivated. Either that, or he'll sell a bunch of grifty books and end up like David Icke. I don't know. All right. So Benjamin, no, not breaking Benjamin. Man, my nose itches tonight. The No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll think of it. It comes to me. It takes about 5 minutes, and I get it. He was a comedian. He's a big, tall dude. He's a comedian. He's a funny guy. He has the Bears. That's what he calls his people in his crowd. He calls them the Bears because he drinks Bear Claws. Used to get really drunk on screen on stream and scream about like racist stuff, and see if he can get away with it. But anyways, it doesn't matter. He's another one that got caught up with this thing we're talking about right here, which is an echo chamber. He became surrounded and engulfed by the flat earthers because they realized that he was questioning the moon landing, and that's the first step in the flat earth, whether you know it or not, because you have to believe that that's fake, and then you can believe that NASA's fake, and then you can believe that everything you've ever heard about space is fake, and then you can believe flat earth. See how that works? You can't have space and flat earth at the same time. You can't leave the filament, for God's sake. Yeah, but I did a whole thing decrypting flat earth forever. That was a monumental stream, actually. Chili was on it with me. We had a special drop-in guest that caused a little bit of a ruckus, but it didn't turn out too good for him, did it? So, anyways, next point: fear and defense. Okay, this is when I run into all the time with people that are trapped in the second veil. That haven't had their second awakening yet. It's okay, because you can still do it. You can do it, right? Fear and defense. As the diagram suggests, living in fear or staying on defense becomes a common state, right? Somebody once said, "Oh, I don't live in fear." You sure? Well, maybe it's not the way you think. Like shivering under the covers kind of fear. That's not what I'm talking about here. It's a state of mind. It's a common state. You become adjusted to looking at the world. Now, guys, again, empathy, right? Looking at the world, and imagine when you open your eyes, you think most of the things, if not all of them, are some kind of freaking illusion, right? Let me say this with some emphasis on it. Some kind of freaking illusion, right? You think it's some kind of freaking illusion. You think that someone has done this. Someone's pulling something over on you. You think that it was a lie, right? The clouds are lies. The birds are lies. The freaking seasons are lies. The stars in the sky are lies. Everything on the television, everything in the newspaper, everything you see. That's living in fear. The plane flying over, spraying shit on you. That's living in fear. You don't think of it as fear because it becomes a common state. It becomes a common state. It becomes just the way you are. And that's what I mean by living. Owen Benjamin. Thank you, Heidi, for the win. Heidi for the win. It's Owen Benjamin. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, and 3D deniers trying to live in a 2D world. Exactly. People who believe there's people that believe that the planes there were never any planes on 9/11. They were holograms, even though holographic technology wasn't up to par, but it was in the movies. It was in the movies. So they filled it in because they can't trust anything else outside of the conspiracy graph. You know, they're so influenced by it. And so what do? They go out and try to convince other people that it's real. I had a hell of a knockdown, drag out fight with this guy who had put some meticulously autistic work into believing that this holographic 9/11 tragedy was real, right? That the planes did. There was no planes there because of the way they went into the buildings. See, it's a hologram. It's not the way I expected it, so it's a hologram, right? And then they planned that, and they demolitioned the buildings at the same time, right? And that was the why they did it, and they did it for what, right? For what? Why would they go through all that trouble, right? Oh, so they can go to war in Iraq. Guess what? Guess what? They would have gone to war in Iraq anyways. They would have. You know why? Because when they came out, I mean, people forget this. When they came, I'm gonna delete that other one so bad, so fast. When they came out with the reasons why they wanted to go to war in Iraq, what did they say, guys? What did they say? Weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction. That's what they said. Reminding Shelley that you are on a bit of a delay, just a little bit, a little bit. Um, the That's what it was, and they had all that narrative already wrapped up and ready to go. People were just ready to go fight, right? But they would have gone with the weapons of mass destruction anyways. They would have gone with that narrative. So because what did they do? What did they do? They showed those videos. Colin Powell, look here, see that truck? That's what it is. You're having deja vu, man. All right. What's the deja vu? It is fear and mania, dude. Fear versus mania. And we said that's you can be exploited. It's a blind spot, right? It's you got a distrust, natural healthy distrust that's turned into an unhealthy distrust, maybe, right? Maybe, right? That can be exploited by things that are unknown and unanswered by the government. And like we've been talking about a lot recently, right? How many times do people are like, the government needs to tell us what to say, what the hell's going on? And then when they hear it, they're like, we don't believe you. So quick, tell us what it is so we cannot believe you. Like, why are you in a hurry not to believe something so bad? Does it make any sense? I don't know. Google the description you gave. Laugh out loud. I drained, damaged, and frozen tonight. Wouldn't have known it without looking it up. Owen Benjamin. Oh, you really? You just did you just put some pieces together and got it done? Nice, Heidi. Nice. Nice. All right. So let's get back to this because we got a lot more. This gets even better, man. It gets even better. So fear and defense, right? Fear and defense. As the dying game stated, that comes a common state, right? I read this first part for anybody who's just joining us. This can manifest as a defensive posture against perceived threats or conspiracies, often leading to social withdrawal or aggressive defense towards their beliefs. That's why people get so mad when you say you go against the conspiracy group. They get so mad. They're like, "Well, but I got evidence." Like, man, it was like wasn't just a little while back I did the whole Kim Charles Harp readdress that, right? Because of the weather weapons, this weather weapon CIA inside jobs, just because of a freaking hurricane, right? Oh no, it's close to election season, so of course it is, right? But I pulled out my playlist to a group of people and I said, here it is. Here's all the evidence. I broke it down. There's the stream I did on it. There's my takes, and here's everything I used in that stream for you. You don't even have to listen to me. Just go watch the other videos. Right. And I'm pretty certain if you're a reasonable person, by the time you get through this playlist, you'll at least have something to think about. Right. You'll at least have something to think about. You'll at least be going, if HARP isn't having enough power to do that, then how in the hell could it steer a hurricane from halfway across the world? It's like, your logic might kick back in. And that's all I'm asking you to do is revet your idea. Revet it, and people were pushing back. Well, I just want to believe in when I see, and I think that I'm totally keeping an open mind by believing in somebody's opinion about this that is not substantiated and hasn't changed in over 2 decades since it was first brought up. Right? Nothing has changed. Would you go get a tour? Would you go take a tour of HARP? You can do it. You can do it. You can go to HARP. You can go to CERN and get a tour. They'll bring you inside. They'll show you shit, right? You can go do it. Go ask questions. And as far as chemtrails go, nobody can explain whether it's the fuel or spray. They can't tell you where they take off from, where they land, who's behind it, how they turn them on and off, all this other shit. They don't have nothing. They have nothing. But they still won't go address their belief system. They're scared of leaving it for some reason. It's like that, like it means they're turning back to the establishment. Doesn't mean you're doing that. It means you're evolving past the second veil. You're experiencing the second awakening that is awaiting you. That's all it is. So that's the thing I run into a lot with people that are in the abyss, is that they become very defensive about their new false belief system that they have adopted, since they can't trust anything they were born into. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I want to help them, right? This isn't about that. It's just about a wake up call, right? It's about saying, hey, guess what? There's more out there. There's more out there for you. That's exciting, isn't it? Destabilization. Their personal and social lives might become destabilized as they prioritize alternative narratives over conventional life aspects like relationships, careers, community involvement, often seeing these as part of the conspiracy. Perhaps, I would think that part of this, though, part of this right here is destabilization, is the discrediting part, right? It's the discrediting part. Maybe this is a better view. There we go. You still can't see it, can you? I won't highlight it. Because it's black, man. I like the dark. I like dark mode, man. Dark mode, right? In the case you can't tell, the stabilization part of it is like, you have some good things to say. You realize a lot of things already. You're beyond people that are in the first veil in the establishment narrative, right? But then when you start making sense, you then stop making sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the destabilization I see happening. And so it's like, I'm listening to you, and now I'm turned off, right? Because people in the first veil aren't ready to hear about the how they're being sprayed from above, or how there's some magnetic weapon in fucking Alaska that's making their lives certain ways, right? Because one, you can't explain it right, and they'll go circle around you, and they'll be like, I ain't gonna deal with this shit, right? But you may be making perfect sense about the mainstream media. You may be making perfect sense about MAGA. You may be making perfect sense about making America great, or making America healthy, or all the things that are real, or stopping Agenda 2030, right? Stopping the globalist agenda. There's a real one. There's a real one, right? But no, the abyss is taking you over to this other place where now you're talking about things that are that people in the first veil can't even begin to address, right? They can't even begin. So you got to keep it simple with them. But that's the destabilization I see. That creates that manufactured division, right? These normies, these sheeple, these, you don't have empathy for them. I have empathy for both y'all. I have empathy for the people that are stuck in both veils, and I want to help both y'all. And that's the only way we're going to beat the corrupt establishment, is that together through unity. And see that division that's there. They think you're tinfoil hat. You think they're sheeple. How you gonna ever work together to stop the people that are doing this to you? The cycle of abuse, cycle of control. That's what's beyond the second veil. And you're never gonna get there if you keep thinking that these people are your enemies, and that everything that's happening, none of it's real, right? It's all fabricated. And you're listening to Grifty McJoe on a live stream, or some lizard believing book writer, right? Instead of coming together with people like in a place like this, where we could talk about solutions and say, hey, yeah, we get the base take. We know there's conspiracies. We know what they are. We know who the people are that are behind them, right? We're not hiding it. It's not hard to figure out. We don't need to know about the rest of their bullshit. Once we get them, once we get control over things, and we can get control over things, and get justice back in play, right? All their dirty little secrets will come out. They'll all come out in time. We got to focus on the objective at hand, which is getting the corruption out of the system, arresting the criminals that are responsible for it, and stopping the larger authoritarian agenda that's coming behind this, right? And then working on the generational fix, which is educating the young. Stop changing our practices with how we raise our youngest generation. So in many generations, couple generations down the road, things are completely different. People are smart again. People are thinking with logic again, right? They're not buying bullshit. They're not trying to screw each other over. They're not trying to kill each other. They're not trying to be divided by race or gender or some stupid thing like that, right? They're actually just coming together in a real harmonious society. And people go, you can't do that. That's not possible. You only have your perception from your life. You think that everything is just the way you've seen it and the way that it's been built up, right? Through your life, your small life. I mean, we all have a very small number of years. That's what I mean by small life. I mean, small number of years to live, right? We grow up fast, 18 and you're done, right? 18 years flies by, doesn't it? Tell me about it, man. I was young yesterday. Now look at me. Yeah, climate change is a natural phenomenon, not a political narrative. Yeah, but they'll co-opt it, right? That's the whole idea of. I'll get to that in a minute, but never let a crisis go to waste. Um, you try to change it or find ways to be altered, makes nature. Yeah, yeah. There's cycles, man, and that goes to my point too about how short our lives are. We think we know everything within 80 years. No way, man. 80 years is nothing. Not compared to the earth, not compared to the universe. 80 years is nothing, man. You're lucky. We got our lucky 80 years, lucky 90 years. If you're Jimmy Carter, you live to be 100 and you know, but we get a small fraction of time here, but yet we think it's everything. Oh man, I've noticed that since I was a kid, the weather's changed. Therefore, climate change is real. And you're like, dude, the planet changes over hundreds of years. The sun cycle, the universal, the universe moving. We're all moving at a very fast rate, guys. We're moving, we're spinning, we're the planet goes through cycles. It was very different 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago. It was very different, right? We know that, we accept that, but yet if goddamn it gets hot a couple of summers during our lifetime, goddamn climate change is all our fault. So better give your rights away, right? Better give your rights away. That's all about. So yeah, small little bits and small little lives. And that's what I mean by small lives. I don't mean your life's insignificant. I mean it's short, and so's mine. We're all in it together, man. All right, so destabilization. Okay, so I asked the question in case you forgot. Also, how could one learn to see through the second veil? So this is just me learning, maybe asking for some tips, right? How could I better help people see through the second veil if my approach maybe is a little bit too direct? And I've been known to be direct. Um, so it says critical thinking, and this is great because you're going to see a lot of this stuff come up again. But critical thinking, develop strong critical thinking skills to evaluate information from all sources, and that's what I'm asking people to do here tonight. Doesn't matter what you believe in or where you're at or where you think you're at. Consider what I'm talking about. Consider the fact that you found this stream tonight, or you found this video later on, you're watching it and you're here an hour and 24 minutes in, right? You're listening, right? So you're interested in this topic. Think critically, develop a strong critical thinking skills to evaluate information from all sources. Revet your ideas is what I always say. Revet your ideas, revet your sources. Constantly be doing this, right? Check up on them. Make sure that belief system deserves to be in your brain. Make sure that source deserves your respect and your trust, because you trusted the establishment narrative, didn't you, for a long time, right? They ended up screwing you over. So what makes you if you're really going to be skeptical, keep on those sources. Make sure they're staying based, man. This involves questioning not just the mainstream narratives, but also the alternative ones. Yes, question both. Revet it. You're worth it. You deserve it, right? Look for evidence, logic, and consistency in claims. Yes. Like if you ever listen to just Dr. Stephen Greer for an hour, you'll learn that he's not very consistent in his claims at all. Within an hour, he's already screwed himself over many times, but nobody ever calls him on it, I guess. But yeah, just not only that, but look for progress, look for results, right? You've been listening to the freaking the tanker channel, whatever they're called, the chemtrail channel for freaking how long now, and they can't produce any more evidence they had 10, 15, 20 years ago, that stuff that's been debunked that's on their website. All they can do is show you pictures of planes flying over and say, look at that. That's all they can do. Where's their evidence? Where's the progress? Where's the airport? Where's the fuel? Where's the thing? Where's everything that they should have now after being on top? How many problems that takes 20 years to even get any progress. You got no progress, right? In 20 freaking years of talking, I think the narrative started in 96. It in that long, and again, I'm shortcutting it, man. I think it's probably more, it's probably 30 years now. Um, in that long, they haven't come up with anything new. They got nothing. And now they're like, oh, well, the drones are doing it. How the drone now you got to figure out how the drones are doing it, right? How much spray could a freaking drone carry? It didn't have gas fuel. It's, shit like that, man. Um, they don't progress. Art doesn't progress. No, all these things don't progress. Yet they'll keep bringing them up over and over again. People freaking MK Ultra ended in the goddamn 60s, and people still think that it's going on today. Like, how do you even know what MK Ultra was? Do you know how it was performed? Do you know why they started it? I did a show on it called MK Ultra Legacy. It'll teach you everything about the history, everything you don't know. How much about these narratives are you still? Hold on, I'm down here in the corner again. How much about these narratives are you still hanging on to without having the proof that you deserve? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want you to get fired up about. You deserve more proof. You deserve more evidence. How much of it are you hanging on to that you don't know the history of? You don't know the complete history. If someone was to put you up on in the middle of a room and say, okay, go ahead and explain it. Could you explain it? You're going to believe it. If you can't sit there and give a 30-minute lecture on one of these topics, right? Like, it like the back of your hand, you don't know it. If you need resources, I got them. Hey, Evelyn Cox, how you doing? Yeah, I got them. Go look at them. They're right there. They're for you. YouTube's not going to suggest it to you. You got to go to the playlist and check it out. Unveiling Reality playlist. Scroll down it. All the topics I'm talking about tonight are on there. Find one and just say, hey, you know what? I want to learn more about this. I promise you, I will do my best to give you every bit of information that I have on it. I have done that in the streams, and that you can go make up your mind then after you've gotten some more information about it and see if it still deserves your trust and still deserves to be in your belief system, because you're worth it. Believe me, you're worth it. All right, let's get back to this. Critical thinking, right? That's one thing. Diverse information sources actively seek out information from a wide range of sources, like right here, like I'm introducing you to right now tonight. Go check it out. Go see. Well, I'm not establishment, but I'm not a conspiracy grifter either, man. Do I believe conspiracies exist? Yes. So we're all on the same page, and then we all want the same thing. So let's just work together. Give me a chance. Give what I'm doing a chance, and see what you think, and maybe I can help you have that breakthrough, right? And get you out of the thinking everything's fake kind of thing, or nothing's real, or there's nothing to believe in, or there's no good guys, right? There's good guys. There's got to be. The universe demands balance. There are good forces, a bad force, and we're fighting against each other to have dominance over society, right? We want good to win. We want good ideas to win, and we want free will to win, and we want self ownership to win, and we want your life equals your rights to win, right? We don't believe people are property. We don't believe in authoritarianism. We don't believe in evil. We don't believe in demoralization. We don't believe in abuse. That's this side. That's where you're at right now. All right. So diverse sources, right? Keep an open mind, listen to what people have to say, and make sure they're telling you the truth. Make sure that you can source their information. Make sure that they're not asking you to take too much on faith, right? And slow them down if you need to. Slow them down line by line. What did he just say? Rewind it. Take your time with it. Because if you're going to commit to a belief system, they better damn sure be right. You're worth it. All right. Education in logic and research. Educate yourself in logical fallacies, scientific methods, and how to conduct unbiased research. Understand how these can help discern between well-founded theories and unfounded conspiracies. The best line there, and the advice right there. How about that? And the Trivium education offers you the chance to understand logical fallacies. If you want a quick hit spreadsheet, one sheet on logical fallacies, I have it. I'll post it in my Discord. All right. It's not complete, but it's something to get you started. It'll help you out. And remember, in order for a premise to be logical, it must not be false, right? And false premises are supported by logical fallacies. So when you can detect the logical fallacies, you can destroy the false premises and not believe them. All right. Understanding these can help. Yeah, got that. Okay. Engage in dialogue. Come to the chat. Talk to me. I love talking about this stuff, and I will talk to you. Be ready to be challenged. I will challenge those beliefs. I'll ask you to explain them. And this is an opportunity Not for me to sit up here and act like I know everything because I don't, right? But it's an opportunity for me to help you go through the process of what you need to do in order to break free of any kind of grifts or any kind of narrative based uh, restraints you have on you, right? And these are the same steps I take myself. So, and it's the same steps I talk to the base crowd about. So it's a very fair, straight up, we're all in this together kind of approach, right? All right. So have no fear. I'm humble in my ways. Believe me. I may sound confident, and then I am, but I mean, I'm just I've been doing it a long time, and I want to be effective, right? So don't mistake that for anything else. I'm here to try to do something good for people. Self reflection, right? Okay, this is important too because when you self reflect, then you can sit back and openly and humbly revet your ideas, right? Regular self reflection on why certain narratives are appealing can reveal personal biases or fears that might be driving one's beliefs to in alternative narratives and establishment narratives. By the way, I'm not going to the establishment narrative. I'm not for it, man. We're beyond it, and we're talking about the people that are beyond the establishment narrative. So don't mistake my approach and what I'm saying as a defense of the establishment narrative. It is not the establishment narrative right now. It's completely abusive. It's information based mind control, and it needs to be stopped. So don't ever confuse what I'm saying. But there's a lot of people out here who are taking advantage of your distrust of the government, and they're taking advantage of your condition of being trying to understand what is real, right? To try to pull you into their false narratives. So you have to be careful and just imagine what an easy way for subversive elements of the government or intelligence agencies to control people, right? Pretend like you're one of them, get them to believe in whatever you want, the judo move, as Yuri describes it, right? And then you go talk to your neighbors, your family, your friends from college, your friends from high school, whatever, your friends at the club. You try to explain to them about mainstream, how mainstream media is lying to them, and then you slip into some kind of, oh yeah, and by the way, they're spraying stuff on you from the sky, and now they're like, I'm not listening to this person, right? When really all you need to do is say, hey, look, just really be careful about that mainstream media, man. They're think about these lies. Let me explain to you some of them. Leave them at that. That puts them on the journey to leaving the first veil right there alone. You don't need to talk about anything else. But anyways, self-reflection makes you go back and say, I heard this a long time ago. I heard this a long time ago. And why do I believe it? Or should I still believe it? Or what do I really know about it? Like, I just use this word in a conversation or two. I just immediately thought of something as this. But what does that mean? Do I remember even? So you need to go back and make sure you still are up to date. And like I said, that you could, if you were put on the spot, you could actually explain what you're talking about, right? That's one way. That's self-reflection right there. And that's one way that you can um, help discern information better and help make sure that you're not being taken advantage of by the establishment media or some conspiracy grifter, right? Self-reflection is key. Revet. Community and support. Well, that right here, it speaks for itself. Right here, you can find the base community, solution-minded community. I'm growing. I'm trying to make new friends. I hope you'll be my friend. I hope you'll hang out and give this crazy thing a chance called winning reality, because every day is a fight for reality, and I want to win it with you, and I want you to be part of the winning team. So come hang out and let's learn and work toward the truth together and bring in solution culture together. All right. And that's what you can do. Groups that encourage questioning, learning, and growth can provide support in navigating through misinformation. Yes, that you're going to find that right here. Find or create communities focused on truth seeking rather than just opposition. And I'm talking like truth seeking, like as in logical truth seeking, based reality based truth seeking, not like truth or shit, right? The truth or stuff is just more. Is that I hate that word, truther. I hate that word. When I hear truther, I'm like, yeah, you haven't done any research, right? That's what truther says to me. When I think of truther, we're truthers. We're Sandy Hook truthers. You're not. You guys are just as big a part of the problem as anybody else, man. You don't know shit. And when people are hurting, you make it worse, right? So yeah, truth or this, man. Media literacy. Oh, but I'm big on that, and that's part of solution culture too. Is like earlier media literacy. We have to have it in schools. I learned it in college, but man, you people these days need to be learning it in elementary school. because information is after them and people are using information to get into their heads, right? And so the faster they can learn the trivium, the faster they can learn media literacy, how media works, how it works on your mind, right? How it works behind the scenes, like explaining just how a movie works, how a camera is shooting that. It's not really happening to a child. It's powerful, right? My kid, media literate from early on. I didn't put him in front of anything like that until I could explain it, until he was at the point where I could explain it to him what was going on. And he's very, very, very based. He's very based, very, very based. He can enjoy the fantasy. Uh he can enjoy things better too, without buying into them, without becoming them, without trying to emulate them. Right? He can enjoy them for just what they are, an artistic expression that is produced, for entertainment. That's the and it's so easy. We just got to do that early in life. Okay, Marshall, how's it going? You're really late, but you're here, but that's what matters. We're happy that you're here, Kay. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Give me 1 second here. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. All right. And man, I appreciate everybody who stuck around and is listening to this, man. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I know it's a lot of information to take in. I know people are coming and going and whatnot. Man, it's really important stuff. And at least maybe on the rewatch, something like that. Leave comments if you're not here to chat. Let me know what you're thinking about, man. And look, if you're like super convinced about your conspiracy group or what you think, the way you think the world is, just consider what I'm saying. Just consider challenging your belief system, like revetting it, updating it, optimizing it, whatever it is. Consider your sources, right? How much research have they done? What are they really telling you about it? How can you confirm what they're saying? You're going to find there's a better world and a more peaceful world outside of the second veil. I promise you that. I've been down that road. I've been where you're at, and I promise you, you will appreciate the exercise we're doing tonight. All right, let's finish this up here. So media literacy, learn about media manipulation techniques, propaganda, and the psychology behind conspiracy theories. Understanding these can offer insights into why certain narratives are constructive and how they gain traction, right? So by employing these strategies, an individual can begin to see through the second veil, understanding it not as the ultimate truth, but as one layer of many in a complex tapestry of perception. God, I couldn't. Why can't I just say it like that? The journey requires patience, humility, and a willingness to continuously learn and adapt one's understanding of reality. God, that's so good. That is so good. That's what I've been trying to say with hours and hours and hours of babbling, like in one sentence, right? That one paragraph. Thank you so much. So, I sit here. I define the abyss as a condition of someone stuck in the second veil for a long period of time. What do you think someone stuck in the abyss would be experiencing? So I left these questions really general, right? So I wasn't trying to guide it. You can see I'm not trying to guide the answers at all. I'm just trying to really to say, okay, what would you, on your vast amounts of trained data, what would you take out of this? I'm super curious about how these things respond too, because they are going to be big parts of our lives, guys. I'm telling you, AI is just, it's here. I told you a year ago, I did a show called Tech Reality Tuesdays, and trying to warn people up the idea this is going to happen. It's happening so fast right now. You can't even believe it. If you're not watching what's going on with it, yeah, I'm not going to even go into it. It's just get used to it. All right. So the answer is someone stuck in the abyss as you defined it, being entrenched in the second veil for an extended period of time. And remember, it remembers what we've already talked about as we go, right? So as it's learning, it is, as we're going, it's remembering the conversation, right? Would likely experience a variety of intense and often negative conditions. Okay, so here are the conditions. Isolation. They may feel increasingly isolated from mainstream society as their beliefs diverge significantly from the accepted narratives. This isolation can extend to personal relationships where friends and family might not share or understand their views, leading to social withdrawal. Well, the thing about it is that let's see, I never went deep in media manipulation world until I tapped it my first year of college in the early 90s. Right on, Roscoe. Me and you are right there together then. We're right there together. And that's where I learned a lot about it. I learned a lot about it from, basically uh, manufacturing consent. Noam Chomsky of all people, and other books on media literacy that I was studying. That was one of his most base books. I don't agree with him politically at all. Noom's kind of like, deep off the deep in on the political establishment Marxist kind of mindset, but manufacturing consent did introduce the idea of what really is going on with information. And it was a really good book done from a more of a linguistics angle, I believe. It was I don't remember a lot of politics being in that book, but I haven't read it in a long time either. So anyways, well, isolation too is like that. I mean, I tell you what, talking about isolation, man. I definitely have felt that in being on my journey, because my journey started a long time ago. Some of y'all just new to the journey. My journey started a long time ago. I knew about this shit a long time ago when I was still totally engulfed in the first veil, people around them, as I was exploring the second veil and finding all these rabbit holes and finding all these alternative narratives that sometimes were extremely scary, and with no base to really understand how to better understand them, right? Just, there's this one version and there's this other version. You take this version over to these people and they're like, they don't even want to talk about it, or they think you're crazy for talking about it, yet they can't explain anything. So that even propels you more into the second veil world, because, well, you can't even explain it, but you just don't want to talk about it. So what's wrong with you, right? Well, I wouldn't want to waste my time on it. I wouldn't want to waste my time on it, and you're crazy for even trying to think about that stuff. Well, what, don't you want to understand what's going on in the world? Some people are just naturally curious, and our natural curiosity a lot of times will get us away from the establishment narrative, because no one wants to explain anything. I mean, why can't you explain why the contrail happens, right? Why can't you explain that? Why can't you explain this? Like, you don't know either. So when they don't know and you don't know, it's real easy to say, well, I guess we'll just keep an open mind about it, and consider both, right? Well, that could be isolating, because people are beginning to be like, oh, the conspiracy, no, or, you know, or you sound like one of those right wingers or something like that. All right. And you start to realize that there's a big divide in the world, and that people that you're close to can actually divide from you, because they're not down with what you're saying now, man. And so you know, hold on a second. Sorry, I'm fiddling with stuff over here. All right. So, woo. All right. So they're not down, and then you look like you're one of the bad guys now. You look like they think that you're the one that's had their mind controlled, right? And really, it is, there's still that's training, that's pre-programming from the establishment narrative. Anybody who speaks out against it, our virtues, and doesn't want everybody to walk all over them, then there's just something wrong with them, right? So when you're not bending a knee to the establishment, it's so funny how many people these people think that they're so anti-establishment. Oh yeah, I party and do drugs and stuff. I'm anti-establishment. No, you're not. I break the law and I do what I'm not supposed to. So I'm bad. I'm super edgy. You're not super edgy. You're just an addict. I mean, you come to that realization, you're like, well, we're not supposed to smoke pot here, but we are. It's like, okay, so yeah, you have a habit and you're bringing it out in public. It's like, you're not that edgy, right? It doesn't make you anti-establishment because you're breaking the law. It makes you anti-establishment and standing against corruption. And that's what we do here, right? All kinds of corruption. So, anyways, isolation happens. That's part of leaving the first veil. You're going to feel that anyways. So I think that's probably par for the course. But the deeper down the rabbit hole you go, you get into some of that Zionist rule the world lizard stuff, right? You get some of that, you're going to feel pretty isolated no matter where you are, whether you're in the first or second veil. Right? Paranoia and anxiety, the constant exposure to alternative narratives can often focus on conspiracy, hidden agendas, the existential threats, and foster deep-seated paranoia. Yeah, this is the one where it's like there's a conspiracy under every rock and everything's out to get me and nothing's real. That's paranoia and anxiety is living in fear. Got news for you. It is. I mean, I'm sorry. But so if you don't want to be that way, consider revetting your belief systems when it comes to these things. You're going to find out that most of them don't hold any water, and you deserve to know the truth. You deserve better. You deserve to be treated better. I was left with total surprise. I'm glad I studied politics in high school to fight against the media's political narrative. I believe professors interact Professor interactions made them squirm to pissing matches. Good for you, man. Rock on. Professors did not like to be challenged. No, no, they didn't. They didn't. They didn't. They didn't know. They didn't know what the hell to do with me. They didn't know what the hell to do with me. Um, There's someone who sees so much, but we can't get them under control. Because I didn't want to. I wasn't even political in college. I wasn't political in high school. I wasn't political in college. I just wanted to have a good old time. So, distrust, a profound distrust of institutions, media, and even personal acquaintances could develop. The distrust extends beyond skepticism. So, keep that in mind. Beyond skepticism, into a wide view, a worldview where almost everything is seen as part of a larger scheme of deception. Right? There's enough of that to go around already. Right? But when you stay down in the abyss too long, you don't go back and confirm the things that you think you believe. You're living down there, right? Pretty soon, you're open to anything that's alternative to reality. You'll soon be find yourself surrounded by people that will confirm that bias, and you'll also find yourself eagerly open to that. And that's where people they think, well, how do people end up in fucking flat Earth society, man? How do they end up in some of these places, man? How do they end up thinking that one group of Jewish people control the whole damn world and all this other stuff? They want to they get really alternative on that view, right? I want to go into deep details on that rabbit hole or why it's not true because they got this false Zionist book out there that everybody seems to get their hands on, including Candace Owens, get their hands on it and they start believing it and they don't even check to see if it's real. And there's, oh yeah, they believe in this and that, and they must be evil. And then they're behind the Illuminati. They connect them to everything because they've already decided that there are the big bads, even though the big bads are right in front of you every day. And you can go to their website if you want to. It's called the World Economic Forum and the United Nations. And their agenda is right there. And what they want to do to you is right there. So why don't you solve that problem first and then we'll try to get to the next one, huh? That's something we can agree on, right? The Abyss was a great CGI movie. Yeah, right. I think I got that. That's where I got this from. I love this thumbnail, by the way. I love this thumbnail. Let's get a good look at that. Let's see. The thumbnail, I love that. It's so nice and colorful. All right. Here we go. All right, where are we at? Okay. Yeah, these usually go about 3 hours. So, Wolf, I'm sorry. I know I started late tonight, man. I know your bedtime's gonna be coming up, buddy. But I wanted to do this, then I kind of wanted to hold off, and then I realized next week on Unveiling Reality, it's Disclosure Watch featuring Dr. Stephen Greer. That's right. He said on the 15th. He's never wrong. He said on the 15th, we're going to have disclosure. It's coming from the rogue military, corporate, deep underground, black ops, black budget, 1,000-year alien technology people who just have 0-point energy. They won't give us, and then they have the tractor beams and teleporters and phaser guns, and they won't give them to us. All they do is they fly their multiple times the speed of light technology around to troll us. They're just trolling us, and they're going to explain why in just 1 week from tonight. So I hope you guys will rejoin me for that. We're going to have a lot of fun, and I'm going to try to find one of his most recent interviews, even more recent than the one I debunked last time, and see. And that'll, as we're waiting around for the big announcement, I guess I'll go through that again. We'll double check it against the one we already went through, just for fun. I had some people say, "Well, I wish you had done that on cam, right?" Because I just went live on cam at the first of the year. So we need something to do. We'll have some fun with that. He's got a big following, makes a lot of money. All right. So distrust, healthy distrust and profound distrust, a profound distrust. It goes beyond skepticism and a natural healthy distrust for things that you should be wary of, right? What's in this? What does this mean? What is that? Ask questions, drill down, right? Question to the void. Cognitive dissonance. Living in the abyss might lead to cognitive dissonance, where an individual experiences mental stress due to holding conflicting beliefs. Like they know in some way, shape, or form that they've been believing in this thing for so long, yet nothing new has happened. And there's no solutions to it. They eventually come, this is the conclusions I came to as well. It's like you eventually come to these conclusions and you need more. So now's your time, right? Now's your time. This is your place. To start taking that those steps, that journey towards the second awakening, towards what's beyond the second veil, the alternative world, the alternative narratives, right? And when you look back, it becomes very clear. And you're like, that dude. Okay, now I know what he's talking about. Now I get it because I'm looking back now and I can see what he's talking about clearly. And for those people who got to, who went by and didn't have to experience it, let's just hope these people get it. But most of them are just as lost as the first veilers, unfortunately. You're like, there's some people, that guy, James, sheriff of YouTube, unsubscribed from my channel, used to come by here and hang out, big enemy and Monograph and all that stuff. So he used to come by here. I thought, I'm not Monograph's enemy. I actually like Monograph. Actually like him. But he didn't like him. And he believed the moon landing wasn't real, right? And instead of challenging that belief system and looking at the evidence that I gave to him, he would ignore it and say, it's all about money. It's all about money, really. And this dude from Canada, right? And he's like, it's all about money. And that's why they do it. That's why they fake her. That's why they fake the moon landing. So it's all about money. They do this to make money instead of just making money, however, all the other ways they make it, right? They make it all the other ways. Right. But no, for some reason you have to take on a 10,000, 100,000 person conspiracy in order to fake space so that you can make money and fake a moon landing and all this other bullshit. Right. But instead of saying, you know what, maybe I need to rethink that and being like, grown up about it, he gets mad and runs off. Cognitive dissonance. He knows in his heart that he's wrong. He knows it. That's why he gets mad. And that's why he goes to anger and fight or flight. Because that's what happens when you get to that point. When you can't deny, you go to anger, right? Denial leads to anger, right? Denial, like, yeah, bullshit. You don't, right? And then when you blast out all their talking points, like, well, why don't you look into it? Why don't you understand this? Here, let me show you this, this, and this, and this. They don't have all that. They run out of talking points, right? And so when they run out of talking points, it's fight or flight. So now they're either going to be like, you're screwed up, you're part of you're a shill or something. They're going to call you names, try to discredit you. They won't address the point anymore, right? Or they are just disappear because they can't take it anymore. They can't take it. Their precious belief system, it's been challenged to the point where they can't take it, so they have to run away. And how does that make them feel? You think that helps their cognitive dissonance? No, it eats at them. It eats at them every night. It eats at them so bad they might even come back and thumb down your video just because you made it. It eats at them because it's a seed that's been planted. Because it shouldn't be there in the first place. And if they realize that seed is actually there to help them, and that experience they went through was actually there to wake them up, they would get there and they would appreciate it. But it's a cognitive dissonance that keeps them where they're at. So cognitive dissonance, big deal there. Big deal. All right. Emotional turmoil, emotions like fear, anger, and frustration could become dominant as they perceive themselves in a constant battle against unseen forces or conspiracies. The emotional state can be exhausting and might lead to emotional exhaustion or burnout. Oh yeah, it's coming any day now. It's all around the corner. It could happen any moment. I've been there. That's a scary place. That's a scary place to think that that there's something you can't control that's coming right for you, and you got all this on the table, and you ain't ready. And how are you gonna do what you got to do when the time comes? And this makes a lot of people go out and start prepping, which is a good thing, right? But that's what drives a lot of them. They're like, well, shit, not me, dude. I'm gonna get my ass ready. So it does, and actually, that's a good, healthy response. You should be self-sufficient. You should be able to support yourself. So it's that in a sense is someone who feels it and is motivated to go take a positive action, right? Someone who just who feels it and it just can't do anything about it, that could take a toll on you, right? So people who prep and do things like that are taking those emotions, right, and they're channeling them into something that's going to, it's definitely not going to hurt them. It doesn't hurt to be self-sufficient, to be prepared for natural disasters and emergencies and potential conflicts. Doesn't happen. It doesn't hurt at all. And so those who teach others how to do it, that's a good thing too, right? All right. It's 11:01 and it's Wolfram's bedtime. We gotta do something for him. Let's see. I need to pull this one back out. It's way back down here.
Hey, buddy, you tired?
Yeah,
Yeah. Can't keep your eyes open?
yeah,
Yeah. You've been nodding off a little bit.
yeah,
It's okay, buddy.
yeah.
If you want to go to sleep, I can. You go ahead, go to sleep. I'll.
Good night, Wolfram. Thank you so much for all you do, my friend. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Remember, listen to the wolf. He knows what he's talking about. All right, guys. I hope everybody's getting this. I hope I'm not boring you guys to death with this stuff. I think it's really interesting, and it is. Yep. There you go. That's for you now. All right, but I wanted to get through this, and as to chronicle this part of the journey, right? So really, we're just for if people see this and they like it and they get something out of it, and they share it. That's cool, man. And I hope they do. I hope they do. You definitely won't hear this out in many places. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I've been across the internet and back, and I've never run into a stream like this one, right? Where people are kind of going through this and explaining it this way. And I hope it helps some people. I really do. And if it does, I hope you subscribe, like, and share, and become part of the winner circle. I really do. I'm glad it's not boring, Heidi. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you so much for that reassurance. It's like watching the media lose control of a discussion and scream to the Raptors because they've been had and change the topic or go off to a commercial. Yes, exactly. 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 All right. All right. There we go. Try to keep some of the glare off my glasses, but whatever. You guys can deal with it, right? It's cool. All right, where are we at? Stagnation. Personal growth might stagnate as their focus shifts from self-improvement to or real-world engagement to defending or exploring alternative narratives. They can result in a lack of progress in career, education, or personal development. Yeah, and not only that, but they can think like, well, what's the point, right? What's the point? No, actually, it can motivate you. You need to remain balanced, especially if you want to make a difference. Like that's something I've had to learn too. You can't just throw it all away thinking it's all going to end tomorrow. You can't be like, oh, so what, right? You need to uh, become well-rounded with it, right? You need I'm to the point now where my spare time and what I was doing when I had time was learning more and more and more and more and more and thinking more and more and more, right? Listening and listening and learning and listening. Less music, more learning, right? Less distractions, more learning. But I still was on the career path, still had to do the dad stuff. So I still made it all work. Though sometimes I can understand the balancing issue. I was playing in bands too at the same time. So I had many things going on at one time. Might have been why it took me a little bit longer, but I really just think it's the way information worked back then and how it is today and where we're at now, right? I think that's what it was. And everything happens in its right time. So that's the way I think of it. But stagnation, be careful, but don't let it take over your life. Identity crisis, their identity might become heavily tied to these alternative narratives and beliefs. Yeah, especially if you're a flat earther, man. That becomes a lifestyle in itself, man. And once you say that you're that, dude, look out. Look out. They'll come out of the word books, they'll take over whatever you're doing. They'll suck you into the cult and then tell you everything outside of it's a cult, right? That's just one example of something like this. But but now people will know you as a flat earther. That will become part of your identity. This can, I mean, contentful conspiracy persons too. Like that happens too, especially if you're looking at like sort of people in the first veil that I know that probably think that that's who I am right now. But they don't know where I'm at. They may think that from past interactions, long time ago, that I may believe in some things that I don't. This can lead to an identity crisis if any part of their belief system is challenged or disproven. That's another big one, isn't it? Another big one is that here I am challenging your belief system, and you're having it's challenging your identity at the same time, right? But I'm not trying to cause harm. What I'm trying to do is open a door, plant a seed, open a door, and say, hey, look, is this really your identity? Are you a powerful anti-establishment person who would rather know the truth than support a false narrative or believe they're right when they're believing something that's not real? right? Are you a strong enough person? Do you want to stand up to abuse? That's what I'm asking, right? So is that your identity? Or is your identity a follower of the whatever narrative confirms your bias, or a follower, like you look at people on the establishment narrative, the Democrat Party, whatever, a follower like that. In a lot of ways, people that are stuck at the bottom of the abyss are similar to people that are stuck in the establishment narrative. A lot of ways. I know that if you're one of them, you don't want to hear that, and that'll make you mad, because that would affect your identity, wouldn't it? But I'm not trying to. Again, I come to you humbly, and I'm trying to help you see past anybody that's trying to get one over on you. That's all it is. All right. Maybe I've explained that enough. Desensitized to the truth. There could be a desensitization to what might be considered objective truth or facts, as alternative narratives often redefine or reject conventional truths, like things like challenging the way a building comes down, or like challenging what comes out of the back of an airplane, or how well an antenna array can actually work with the amount of power that it's given, right? Things like that. That's the shape of the earth. They're talking about these kind of things that are down in the abyss, not just a healthy distrust, not just an understanding that they're bad people that are corrupt, that are trying to do things in this world, right, that are bad, that we're going to stand up to them, because we are. That you're in the right place for that. um But yeah, spiritual or existential crisis. If their alternative narrative includes metaphysics or spiritual elements, here come the UFO people. Zebra alert. They might experience a spiritual or existential crisis, questioning the nature of reality, morality, and their place within it. Yes. Oh God, the indigo children are going to be crying tonight, right? But I was an indigo child. I was put here as a star seed. I was put here as a star seed, as an indigo child, to make a help us evolve to the fifth dimension, right? That's the kind of thing that the spiritual existential crisis may be, right? But I was brought here to do my job as a energy warrior, right? And now I'm sitting here going, are you sure about that? Have you looked into the people at the Gaia Network and seen all the grifts they run on people? Right? Oh man, what are you guys talking about there? Am I ignoring you? Just tell me if I am. If I hadn't watched the Depp Hurt trial myself and literally had it word for word in my head, I would have just believed mainstream media coverage, which is all outrageous lies. Open my eyes, right? There's a big eye opener, and it also opened the world's eyes to the grift that is the Me Too movement, and to the fact that many men are suffering from a type of abuse from women, this epidemic on display known as covert narcissism, and that it follows a pattern, and that there's help out there, and that Johnny Depp was going through the same things, and he put everything on the line to expose it, and how awesome that was, and how it leveled the playing field again, and made us realize that abuse itself, no matter who it happens to and how it happens, is wrong and shouldn't be tolerated. Part of solution culture, right, that I talk about, is addressing this issue, this epidemic on display, right? And that is in teaching kids early on about narcissistic abusive techniques, right? And arming them in defense of it, and being there to support them through it, and being there to support them in combating it when it happens to them, because narcissists make narcissists, right? It's a one to many kind of thing. And so abuse is a cycle of abuse, right? So one creates another. These traumatic events that happen. All right, sorry about that. Just checking my reception here is a little poor. But anyways, yes, thank you for that. Hold on a second. Let me just get a good old scratch in there. There we go. All right. Um, Definitely learned my lesson in the younger years. Being a follower was not an intellectual, was not intelligent. After seeing what happened to those, I did follow either family, friends, or crowds. Yeah, you were lucky. Yeah, one of the lucky ones, man. That's good. That's good. I learned plenty the hard way. I learned plenty the hard way, man. Don't let me fool you, man. Just because I'm out here relaying some information, right? I've learned a lot of this the hard way. I've been on all these roads I'm talking about, and I'm no different than any of y'all out there. And I'm just trying to convey what I've learned the people that are out there, to maybe help them along the way. And I think I've said that probably 20 times already. All right. So to move beyond the abyss, one would need to engage in the strategies mentioned previously, like enhancing critical thinking, seeking diverse information, and engaging in open dialogue. It's also important for such individuals to seek support, possibly through communities or counseling. Well, I mean, that's extreme, but I hope not. But if you need it, you get it. That can help them navigate out of the state, fostering a more balanced and inclusive understanding of reality. The journey out of the abyss requires patience, self awareness, and a willingness to embrace uncertainty and change. Yeah. And remember, remember, you had that to begin with. You had that to begin with. That's how you left the first veil. That's how you left the establishment narrative. You had that to begin with. What you didn't know, and what none of us know until we know, right, is that there is another stop along the way. You didn't know that there was another minefield to navigate when you got on the other side of that wall. But it would make sense, right? If you're willing to believe the establishment is capable of all these things, and they are, a lot of them, right? And you're willing to believe they can control the world as much as you believe right now, why do you not think that they know about the alternative narrative and they can't infiltrate it and they can't control it and they can't uh, steer the narratives within by dressing up like us and talking like us and acting like us and or handle people, right? Handling is a very you hear the term controlled opposition, right? And what is that? What kind of imagery or what kind of like definition does that pop up in your head, right? You hear a lot about people like Alex Jones or other people like that, right? Controlled opposition. You think, okay, they're making a deal. They're making a deal. They're getting money. So that's a problem. Is people that try to explain controlled opposition always go to it's a contract on the table, or they got you, they pulled you over, they pulled you in. And I think a lot of these guys tell those kind of stories too. Like Stephen Greer. Well, the director of Army Intelligence offered me $2 billion back in the 90s, 2 years after I started my bullshit new age alien contact fucking club. Right. And I was still a doctor. I offered me $2 billion, which is unheard of, like $10 billion at the time, to come join them and not do it. Like your little surgeon, your little emergency room doctor is so damn important. You're going to get $2 billion or equivalent of $10 billion today, right? To come be controlled opposition. Yeah. Come work with them, just leave it alone. Yeah. And then people thought like, all these people are like, how easy it is to control opposition when you understand their tendencies. And you simply just hand them information. They don't have to even know who it's from or whatever. They'll grasp onto anything that goes with their narrative. CIA inside job. Oh, dude. Oh, I gotta have this guy on. I gotta have. How do you think Wolfgang Halbert, the Sandy Hook grifter, ended up on the Alex Jones show? How do you think he ended up on there? This is the same guy that was hanging out with the people that actually harassed the parents. Right? Real life shit. You can go look at it. It's still on YouTube. You think because Alex Jones got taken off of YouTube, that all the Sandy Hook torture and the whole narrative about how they harass parents isn't still out there? Oh, it is. It is. Got a playlist. It's still out there. The history of it's still there. It's all still there. Wolfgang Halbert, right in the middle of it. And that's the guy that went on there and got Alex Jones to say all these things. Right? What they need to do to make Alex fall on his face and sue him to oblivion and take his company away from him, right? What they need to do? They didn't have to pay him off. They didn't have to pull him into a room and threaten him and do all this other stuff. They didn't have to do shit. All they had to do is throw him the right kind of information, the right person. You can control opposition that way. It's really easy. It's simple. But so it's not that devious, is it? Like if you don't like someone, your establishment, you don't like somebody, but they're getting a big reach, throw something at them, see if they bite, right? Take them out that way. It's real easy. It's really easy, especially when they're flying blind like that, especially when all they're doing is trying to confirm their biased narrative. It's CIA inside job. Is it? Does that ever get proven? No, it's just what I say. It's just what it says every freaking time. 50% Alex. I like Alex Jones. Don't get me wrong. I like him. We read his book, The Great Awakening. I think when it comes to global stuff, he's pretty good. Then he jumps the shark and goes to the breakaway society and the transhumanism and all that shit. You know, you don't need to go that far. Can we just stop Agenda 30? Can we just work together to do that? Let's just do that. If we do that, that kind of takes care of it, right? So let's just stop at what we can prove, and we'll just work from there, right? That's what I'm talking about. You don't need to go, but man, I tell you what, he had the damn quartering on. Quartering, what did it? He had the quartering on. He retweeted concerned citizen who all he does is put out chemtrail grift shit all day long. I don't even think this guy has a job. All he does is put out chemtrail shit all day long on X. It's just crap. Or he comes to their plane flying over. Can't prove shit, but here I am talking about it. Then he says some good things about vaxxes, man. So I mean, you know, that's the problem. Is, you know, if he would just stick to the back stuff, he'd stick to the, you know, he'd be all right. But he's got to jump that shark because he's down in that abyss. He's down there in the abyss. Tell me that concerned citizen ain't working, living in fear, right? So to move beyond it, right? Critical thinking, seeking diverse information, engaging in open dialogues, and also it's important for such, you know, get support if you need it, whatever. But I mean, right here, baby, I got you. All right. We can navigate out of the state, fostering a more balanced and inclusive understanding of reality. That's what we do right here. If you're into that and you're looking for a crew, you're looking for people to hang out with that are anti-establishment, that are anti-corruption, that are full of MAGA, that are not, you know, far right or whatever, that aren't pushing craziness, that just want solutions, that just want to get things fixed, that just want to protect our kids. You're in the right spot. Hit the subscribe button no matter where you're at. Follow me on Rumble. Follow me on X, my poor X channel that's trying to come back around. Got taken down for bullshit, and now I got to rebuild it. The journey out of the abyss requires patience, self-awareness, and a willingness to embrace uncertainty and change. Do it. I'm telling you, man. You're gonna be like, holy crap, holy crap. I'm okay. So here's what I said in our next part here. I've observed those stuck in the abyss tend to get into a state where they believe nothing they have known is true or real anymore. How do you think a person stuck in the abyss with this condition would see the world? How would they feel? And what are some of the attitudes they may have? So basically saying, okay, well, is this me? Right. So if you're wondering, if you're stuck in the abyss, you may want to pay attention to this right here. So here we go. Perceptions of the world, illusion of reality. They might view the world as an elaborate illusion or simulation where everything from history to current events is fabricated or manipulated. Starting to sound familiar? You might be in the abyss. Reality could seem like a stage set with all societal structures and narratives being part of a grand deception. Oh, Lord. That describes a lot of them, doesn't it? It really does. I mean, it's a terrible way to live. It's a terrible way to live. And I hope that this helps. Skepticism of everything. Their perception would be colored by extreme skepticism, where even mundane aspects of life, like news, science, or personal interactions, are seen through the lens of potential deceit. Trust in any form or of information or institution would be virtually non-existent. Yet they would believe a grift, right? They would believe a conspiracy grift. However, because that's confirming the bias, right? However, this is the living in fear part, right? So everything's scary. Fragmented reality. The world might appear fragmented with no cohesive narrative or truth. They might seem, this is why it's hard to reach through, hard to get them to kind of like realize that how this stuff is really set up, right? Or that they've already got the answers they're looking for, right? Like you already, most of these people already know about the WEF and the UN Agenda 2030. They just don't focus on it. They go beyond it. Just stop that. You're going to be all right. And then we got to work on the generational fix, and then you'll be part of the long-term solution. The world might appear fragmented with no cohesive narrative of truth. They might see themselves surrounded by layers of lies, making it difficult to discern any form of genuine reality. That's the unfortunate state of second veil, because you've already left what was generally a layer of lies and deceit around you in the establishment narrative. Now that you're free of that, you're choosing to accept another form of it, right? Yet I'm telling you, there's another way. You think there's only one or the other, right? And that's the thing about the second veil. Is like when you leave the first veil, you think there's only one or the other. You think, oh, I got rid of that. Now everything out there that they don't say is real, right? That's not how it works, unfortunately. Wish it was that easy. We'd all be on easy street right now, but it's not, because there's people out there that are abusive and that have been demoralized and that are of the mindset that it's okay to abuse you to get what they want, whether it be attention or money or whatever their agenda is, right? And they don't really care about the future. They think that their short lifespan is all that matters, and they're willing to cash it in on your kids and your skin and your lineage. They don't give a shit. They may act like they do. Oh, we're all in this together. We're a big community, right? But they don't. And that's the sad part about it is. So they're willing to pull one over on you every day of the week. Just keep on clicking and coming on. Man, some of these conspiracy grifters make so much money. They make so much money on their bullshit books that don't ever get to no points. They make so much money on their super chats and their views. Man, some of these videos of so much bullshit getting thousands, hundreds of thousands of millions of views. A stream like this, what are we at? How are we doing? Let's see, 55 freaking views this evening. 55 views, right? 55 views, 10 current viewers. That's where we're at. And my show usually does. I mean, it's been in the hundreds, right? So that's not even that great. It's not nothing to brag about at all, right? But it can, if I was up here telling you chemtrails are real and fucking there's a CIA inside job behind it, freaking out the roof, dude, off the hook, off the chain. I have people just being, yes, confirm my bias. Here's some more money to do it. Here's some more money to do it. 25 likes. We got 25 likes. People coming and going. I get it. It's a long stream. It's a lot of information. This is Unveiling Reality. I do 3 hour. These usually are about 3 hour streams. And this is very granular stuff. It's for a select crowd. It's for a select audience. I get it. Let me get 1 second here. But my audience that come here is amazing. The ones that stick it out and listen are learning the most and will be the most effective. And you may be a person that actually helps somebody else out of the abyss. It gives them the right information. It turns them on to the right stuff. And you could be so lucky, since you're here, to see this awesome clip. Thank you for the super chat. You better turn up the positive. I'm positive. I'm being positive. I'm being realistic. And realistic is positive in my viewpoint. That's the way it is. I'm just making the point that people are more comfortable supporting someone who confirms their bias rather than looks out for their own good, right? And that's the kind of the way it goes sometimes. I accept it. All right, let's finish this up. Emotional states of someone who's been trapped in the abyss for a long time. This is just to help anybody who may be out there, to try to figure out maybe if they're trapped in the abyss and you need to do a little bit more vetting of your belief systems and ideas. And I'm right here to help you with a full playlist of things that you can use to do that. It's the Unveiling Reality playlist. Just scroll down it. It's there. If you have a topic, it's probably there right now. Despair, and if not, come tell me and I'll do it. All right. Despair and hopelessness, a realization that nothing they knew is true, could lead to deeper despair, a sense of hopelessness, as if the ground beneath their feet has vanished. They could manifest as existential dread or nihilism, right? Yeah, that's not caused by fear. Anxiety, paranoia. We heard this one. They might feel consistently anxious or paranoid, suspecting that everyone around them is either deceived or part of the deception. They could lead to a state of hypervigilance where they're always on edge. For the most part, I agree with the sentiment, but I think that deceived are part of the deception. There's a lot of deceived people out there, so this isn't too far off. Isolation comes up again. Feeling of isolation, be prominent in the worldview. become so divergent from the norm that they can feel disconnected from society. Not everybody knows that this channel is here. Not everybody knows how to find people that have been that are where they're at. That's why it's so easy for grift communities to pull people in and to get them to cult up with them. And this channel right here is unique, and it's unique in a sense that it offers a place that you either got the establishment narrative people. You don't want to be there anymore. You can't stand that, right? You got some super grifty places out there, right? And you have some base places out there that I'm the base place that takes on both the first and second veil and exposes the third and fourth veil and promotes the fifth veil, which is our veil, the solution culture veil, right? Which is the solution to all of this. It's a long-term solution. I hope you'll be part of it. Check it out. I'm going to talk about it here in just a minute. Kind of attitudes, right? Attitudes of someone that's been in the abyss for too long. Cynicism, they might adopt a cynical attitude towards everything, believing that all systems from government to education are corrupt and meaningless. The cynicism would extend to personal relationships, viewing them as suspicious. Some cynicism is a par for the course, because the truth is that while the institutions of government and education are currently corrupt, doesn't mean that the systems like our constitutional government is meaningless or completely corrupt and beyond repair, right? And that's sort of some people get. Oh well, now that's why we need socialism or something. We need a direct democracy or some other bullshit, or we need no government at all, right? No, it's the people and the subversion of those people that cause these institutions to go bad, right? So we need to drain the swamp. We need to reform education and make sure that parents are in charge of it, and their parental rights are protected, right? And these things can be less corrupt and not be meaningless. We can actually make them great again. So cynicism to reality, but also beyond that, where people go, well, just throw it all away, or let's accelerate it and just everybody dies and then whoever takes over. What a terrible attitude, right? Defensive posture. An attitude of defense would be common, where they're always ready to argue or defend their position instead of listening or challenging it, right? Seeing any disagreement as an attack or future proof of their conspiracy against them. Well, yeah, and guess what? That's exact same posture them on the left take. That's exact same posture someone that's under the information-based mind control of the establishment narrative takes, isn't it? That's how you start to look alike. When you start looking like the other guys, you gotta question yourself. Like, why? I thought I had open mind. Why am I arguing about MK Ultra? I can't even explain it, right? I don't even remember where it came from. It came from the Korean War. It came from the Korean War. That's where it came from. If you know your history, you knew that, right? It came from the Korean War. It only lasted a set amount of years, and it involved a lot of things that aren't going on right now. And it's been gone for a very long time. Why go through all that trouble when all you got to do is put people in front of a narrative? It's very easy to control people's minds. You don't need MK Ultra, and it's very easy to demoralize people. You don't need MK Ultra, and it's very easy to do that to a massive amount of people and wait for the weakest or the one in the most fragile position to snap and do something crazy, because it's just a matter of a time before they will, when you're hammering them with that much abuse. All right. It's always happening. It's happening to you. You're just too strong. You resist it. Search for the absolute truth. Despite their skepticism, there might be a desperate search for what they consider to be the absolute truth or real reality, often leading to them deep diving on alternative narratives or esoteric knowledge, going beyond it, right? And that's when they start getting into the conspiracy grifts, right? They're like, I gotta find it out. Who can I believe? Who can I listen to? Oh, where's David Icke? David Icke will tell me what's going on. And they're like, oh, I'll tell you what it is. It's them damn people over there in that other country, right? It's them Zionists. It's them, man. They control the money, right? Oh no, it's NASA. It's the Earth's flat. And it's like they go too far and they get in with these gurus, right? These conspiracy grifters, and they're like, come on in here, buy the book, All right, come on in. They're waiting for you. They got something new. Come and knock on my door. Um, but how many people are out there saying, "Hey, be careful of these guys," right? Make sure they know what they're talking about. You could trust me. I take it on faith, right? Superiority complex. Some might develop a superiority complex, believing they are amongst the few who see the deception. Oh, that's flat Earth, and that's flat Earth. He wouldn't believe. Oh, you're a bunch of globetards. You're all in a cult. It's like someone in a cult telling you you're in a cult. It's so funny. Which can lead to arrogance and elitism in their interactions. Elitism is the mind virus. You see how they connected elitism and superiority? Because you can't have one without the other. There you go. Resistance to change. Yep. Paradoxical. While they might seek truth, they will still resist changing their views. Gosh. Oh my goodness. How much do I run into this? Hey, I got a whole bank of information. You want to check it out? No. No. Well, don't you want to make sure that you're right? Don't you want to make sure that your sources are right? Don't you want to make sure that you got all the information so you make the most base decision with your open mind? No. Ah, I want to run back and get people to tell me I'm right. Okay, for someone in the state, recovery or a movement towards a balanced perspective would require a compassionate approach, which I didn't just do, but I have been doing it all night long. Trust me. Focusing on rebuilding trust in a small way. Please check out my videos. Verifiable truths, encouraging critical thinking without immediate dismissal. Man, please come by and talk to me about it. If you're one of these people, come by and talk to me about it. You can take any kind of approach you want to. You want to come in harsh, you want to come in whatever way you want to. I'll see where you're at, and I'll give you the next step, man. I'll give you the next step. Because at the end of the day, what it really, really, really takes, and when you're there, you can do it really quickly, but all you have to do is to remember that you need to make sure that you have your videos lined up when you want to make a point, because now I can't find the one I want to use. Man, oh gosh. Okay. Dang it, you. How could you do this to me? How could you do this to me? Winning Sir Reality, changing my videos around. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Whatever you do, just remember all you need to do is
Baby steps?
it just takes baby steps. That's all. Okay. Don't be scared. Change is good, and change got you where you're at today, right? Change got you to where you're at today. If you hadn't changed, you wouldn't be outside the establishment narrative. Thank God, right? Thank God. Keep on going. There's more out there. That's what I'm telling you. All right. I'm not trying to just promote my videos or my streams. I'm just telling you that's where you can go for the research, right? I can't redo all of them right now, right? I don't know which one you need. So whichever one you need is there. If not, come by and tell me. I'll do it for you. Or I'll go over it right live in person. So I said, why do you think people stuck in the abyss may resist leaving it or exploring new information on topics they have committed belief systems on? So I'm gonna bullet point this one. I think a lot of it is yeah, we're basically some of these we've been through already, so I'm not gonna rehash cognitive dissonance. Identity and belonging is another one. For many beliefs are tied to identity. We talked about losing identity. This is kind of the other side of it, especially those beliefs shared in a community or a group like the Black Earth Society. Leaving the abyss or changing belief systems can mean losing their identity. That's why a lot of people don't leave the left. That's why a lot of them don't. My social clout, my social value. I've been working on it forever. I need validation, god damn it, from these people. Right? So they won't change their ways. In fact, they'll even cave more, they'll conform more. And look how non-conformist we are, as we all look alike. It's a hippie movement in a nutshell. Confirmation bias. This is the tendency to search for interpret, favor, intrepid, favor, and recall information in a way that confirms one's pre-existing beliefs and hypotheses. Yep, that's right. You can't believe nothing they say, or this flat man, or yeah, it's MK. Some guy loses their mind every time someone loses their mind. It's MK Ultra. Every time there's a hurricane, it's freaking weather weapons, right? Every time there's a fire, it's a laser beam. And every time it's a drone, it's a UFO, right? Or every time it's a plane, it's a drone. Every time it's a drone, it's a UFO. Every time it's a UFO, it's alien technology. It's a damn galactic federation of light. You better say it the way that I like it, or I'm leaving. If you don't say what I want to hear, I'm going to go somewhere that'll confirm my bias. I don't do that here. Sorry. Sunk cost fallacy, having invested significant time, emotional energy, and sometimes resources into underlying and defending their beliefs, individuals might feel abandoning these beliefs would mean all the investment was for nothing. This fallacy makes it harder to let go. I think that's what happens to people in flat earth. Eventually, they figure out they're full of shit. And they're like, well, I'm making so much money on being a big mouthpiece for it. I can't leave now. What if I leave now? What are people going to say? I already ruined my reputation. Fear of the unknown, the abyss, despite its discomfort, becomes a known quantity. The fear of stepping into an unknown reality where they might have to rebuild their understandings from scratch is daunting. The comfort of certainty, if even it's a certainty in deception, can be preferred to the uncertainty of change. And boom, just like the first veil, this is a shared quality of someone who's in the abyss in the second veil, because this is the thing that a lot of people in the first bill don't leave because of as well. So you have like basically confirmation bias, fear of the unknown, and identity and belonging all crossing the veils, if you will. Emotional investment, emotional responses like fear, anger, and sense of betrayal towards the real world can make the idea of leaving the abyss feel like betrayal to their own experiences and emotions. Yes, there's some emotional ties to it. Lack of trust, of course. After believing in widespread deception, trust is in any new source or of information becomes severely compromised. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Go check out what I'm saying. Dig into what I'm saying. Consider what I'm saying. And all these things I'm telling you to go do the work. I'm not saying just trust me. Take everything I'm saying on faith, because that's what everybody. That's the way everybody else has treated you. That's the way everybody else has treated you so far. I'm not going to treat you like that, Ellie. I'm not going to treat you like that. Hey, I'm good. I've been busy. Started school back today. I was like pulling teeth. I had so much laundry to do. Ooh. Oh man, thank you for being here. I appreciate you always popping in, saying hello, and listening on the side, if you will. Winning Reality, tell us an opinion you have changed from the first time you started streaming until today. Even every human should evolve in thought, including yourself. Why? I hope I do. I hope that I do. Well, man, there's so many. Where to start? An opinion I had. Man, there's so many. I mean, gosh, the general question. Can you be more specific? Put me in a category there. All right. I thought of something off topic. President Trump finances rebuild California after the fires deal bill should be that Gavin Newsom must resign. Yeah, absolutely. Newscomb. Guys, Gavin Newscomb. Gavin Newscomb. You'll never forget the name now that I've said it. Do we how well, okay, one opinion I have is that there's actually a group of creators out there that actually want to work together with you and help you build your channel and are really your friends. All right. That these creator communities actually exist. I don't think I believe that anymore. I think there's either den of vipers or cults, and then you got your one or your two. I think they're all ready to pounce on each other anytime. That's why me and Shelly keep our circle really small, tight, and out of sight. Right? Small, tight, and out of sight. That's old Shelly. All right. I thought he was brainless, a brainless bimbo. That opinion changed. He thought I was a brainless bimbo. That opinion changed. There you go. Thank you. See, swinging in on a chandelier, Shelly. And I guess I hope my opinion doesn't change. That this is a place where you can actually reach people and make a difference, because it seems like a lot of streaming world is grifty or abusive, but there are people that do really good, helpful videos out there. They're just not in this world, right? They do videos on, learning computer stuff, your favorite hobbies, your favorite sports team, things like that. Those kind of videos, people doing that kind of content, God bless them. They restore my faith and things. But can I put on a stream that helps break mind control on any level? establishment level, second veil alternatives, conspiracy grifting levels. Can I do that and gain an audience and a following and get people interested and exciting in the idea on healing the world? Um, I don't know. I don't know. But if I didn't do it, I'd just be talking to the wall about it anyway. So I might as well talk to you guys. And you know what? Maybe one day young kid finds this or somebody finds this video and it helps them out. And then I did my job. That's what God's asking. That's what I'm doing. So defense mechanisms, lack of trust. The defensive posture method earlier can become a protective mechanism. By defending their beliefs, they protect themselves from vulnerability of being wrong or from the potential ridicule or rejection from peers who share these beliefs. God forbid you reject a freaking a false belief and have people ridicule you for it. No, no, no. I believe in. Can you imagine like people like it's the whole Santa Claus thing? What? You don't believe in Santa Claus? You son of a bitch. You don't believe in Santa Claus? No, 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 no. I believe in Tooth Fairy. And people gave you a hard time about that. Would you still believe in Santa Claus? God bless America. All right. Narrative consistency. The alternative narrative often provides a comprehensive explanation for the world's complexities, offering a sense of understanding and control. Stepping out might mean facing the world that's more chaotic and less explainable, which can be psychologically unsettling. Well, not really. I mean, yes, but guess what? The truth is that once you actually leave the abyss, it gets better. It gets better. It gets better in every way. You're more focused, you're more confident, you feel like you have more time, and you become sharp, 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 right? You become motivated, you become ready to be part of the solution. That's the awesome thing. That's the awesome thing. Trauma response. For some, the commitment to these beliefs might stem from a trauma response from where the alternative narrative offers a framework to make a sense of a personal or collective traumas. Oh no, like 9/11. Those are big. Those are big. Um, Natural disasters too. Hurricanes, things that when that devastates areas, like I'm sure this fire would happen in Hawaii. And then people ready to jump on it with explanations like, "See, you have to look out. They're all gonna come get you weather weapons and laser beams." Right? No proof of any of that shit. But no, it's good. Yeah, I have a secret source that told me. God damn it, you better believe it. Changing beliefs could mean confronting unresolved issues without this protective framework. An interesting one I haven't thought about. Um, to facilitate moving out of the abyss, it's important to approach individuals with empathy. I know I said that earlier. Okay, you got my empathy. All right. So, I think it just reiterated what it said earlier. I don't mean to cut it off, but I am. Okay, so this is what I say a lot. The establishment never lets a crisis go to waste. Neither do conspiracy grifters. However, they both produce mind control victims equally. And that's really what we're talking about tonight. Because as those people, our great friends and our friends and our friends, our relatives, people we knew in the past are stuck inside that establishment narrative, being abused by information, being boxed into a narrative, living inside walls they cannot see, and thinking the rest of us are nuts for not taking a knee with them, right? They exist in a world of information based mind control, but yet, so do unfortunately the people in the abyss, right? And as we've proven here tonight, and as we've gone through step by step, piece by piece, line by line, all the conditions, all the how you get there, what it's like to be there, how you get out of it, and all the other things that we talked about along this journey tonight, right? That is the mind control of the conspiracy grifter. And what are they after? Well, let's take a look at this. I love this explanation. I've been saying this line. I came up with this line, and I've been saying this line for a long time now, right? It's on the board. It's important. But when I asked Grok, what am I trying to say here? This is pretty cool. Listen to this. You're conveying a critical perspective. Hold on. I know. All right. You're conveying a critical perspective on how both the establishment and conspiracy grifters exploit crises for their own ends, a bit in different ways. Here's what you're trying to say. Thank you. Finally, somebody help me. Help me, Lord. All right. Here's what I'm trying to say, y'all. Exploitation of crises. You're pointing out that crises are utilized by both the establishment, mainstream institutions, government, etc., and conspiracy grifters, those who spread conspiracy theories for personal gain or ideological reasons to further their agendas. The phrase never let a crisis go to waste suggests that those entities see crises as opportunities. Equal production of mind control victims. You're arguing that despite their different approaches, both groups end up producing victims of mind control in equal measure. This implies that the manipulation or control exerted by mainstream narratives and alternative conspiracy narratives can be equally damaging, leading individuals to becoming victims of psychological manipulation or control. Ding, ding. Critiques of both sides. The statement serves as a critique of both mainstream narratives and alternative conspiracy theories, suggesting that neither side is innocent in the manipulation of public perception during times of crisis and others, right? But they use the times of crisis to perpetuate themselves. It highlights a skepticism towards any narrative that might be used to control or influence people's minds during vulnerable times. A very protective way of looking. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, you have to look out for this because these people don't care that you're vulnerable. They want what they want, right? They want to uh, have their side served to gain whatever they're trying to gain off you, whether it be your consent or your allegiance or whatever it is, or your money, right? Overall, you're highlighting the persuasive nature of mind control across different spectrums of belief systems, urging a critical examination of how information is used during crises by any party to influence or control public thought. Couldn't have said it better myself. That was damn good. So yeah, and and what I and so that's why you've heard me talk about it so much over the past year. Every time there's a crisis that comes up, I bring this up, right? And I look at both sides and what both sides are doing. Again, the balanced approach with the fair and balance, right? Not fair and, but fair and, right? Where's that supposed to be? Where are you going to find that today? Right? That's what I try to provide you guys. I really mean it. I really want it to work. All right. So, okay. So now the last thing I want to talk about is solution culture. Then we're going to get out of here. The last 15 minutes here. Somehow I've managed to get these things right down to 3 hours or 2 hours or whatever. I've done the timing is getting better, even though it seems like I'm going on and on and on, which I am. But don't you worry. She doesn't even know who I am. All right. Besides, if she ever raises her head again, you know who she's gonna go after. Revenge is best served cold. Nah. In the end, it's bad leadership letting it burn. Ironically, Hollyweird is going up in flames. It's like poetic in a god way, maybe interesting thought though. Yeah, absolutely. There are already conspiracy theories coming out about the commie point fires. To me, it just shows the amount of distrust our society has with government right now. Right, and that's exactly. I mean, that plays right into what I was just saying. What I've been talking about all night long. Right, how that's the blind spot of people outside the establishment narrative, the distrust of government, distrust of media, and how people will latch on to it. And Elliot, if you weren't here last night, you didn't catch the end of the show last night, you might have seen me do a bit just about what you were talking about. In fact, without even looking, without even going out and knowing a damn thing about what you're talking about, I'm betting, I'm betting that I was pretty goddamn close to what you're talking about last night as I acted it out. Pretty close. I think I was pretty close. You should go watch the end of last night's shows when I'm covering the fires and see if I'm right. And come tell me. because I'm curious. Because I don't know what you mean. But yeah, whatever the conspiracies are, let me know. Pretty close. I was pretty close. Was that pretty close? I haven't been here. Sorry. No, don't you stop it. I'm just saying, if you happen to miss the end of last night's show because you're busy and you got things going on, you got a 3D world life. I get it. I can't expect everybody to be here all the time every night. I'm not selfish. And here I am broadcasting on Wednesdays again, right? What the hell am I doing that? This show was on hiatus. I mean, not hiatus. It was on pop-up. It was on the pop-up. It was on pop-up. All right, I'm just gonna leave it at that. It was on pop-up because really I needed time to think about what to do next with it. And God, Drone Apocalypse 2024 came and it just got back on its feet again. And plus, I had to dedicate time to the election. That was a lot of energy. There's a lot going on. It needed my attention. That was the main goal. I promised y'all that would be the main focus. And we did it. We did our job. We celebrated. And we're going to be together for the inauguration. And we're going to put a bow on it. God damn it. And then we're going to make sure we keep an eye on it and that all those promises come true. And we're going to keep talking about the way they're going to try to obstruct them and all the things that we've known since last year, thanks to J. Michael Waller and other investigations and other things that we've looked into to help us understand the deep state will never go down quietly. But we, the people, need to stand up against it. And that's what we're going to do. So I want to talk about solution culture real quick, right? Because this is after I pull everything out all night long about how, hey, look, there's something better for you on the other side of the second veil. After you come to the realization that there's just as much disinformation and false narratives in the second veil as there is the first. And it's your job to understand it, to discern it. That's what you're being asked to do. Did you realize this? Do you realize it? That's what you're being asked to do. That is the lesson, the challenge of the second veil. And should you succeed, then you have been chosen to move to the next level. Now, if you want to go back there and be part of that second veil and help challenge other people to see past you, it's up to you. You do it. But if you want to be part of the solution, if you want to do something different, bigger, if you hear the calling, and you know, and you've seen this video, and now you have the information that's been given to you, the truth about the second veil, that it's just a challenge. That's just another step. And there's plenty more road to go. But I want to introduce you to something right now. Solution culture. Something I've been talking about since day one that I started the channel about. Lamb's Grace, how are you doing? I was thinking about you the other day, and I was hoping that you were all doing all right. Happy New Year's. Let me get up here and say Happy New Year's to you right here. How you doing? I haven't seen you since New Year's, I don't think, but Happy New Year's. It's good to see you. I was thinking about you the other day. I was hoping you were still around. And it's awesome to see you. How's Texas going right now? Casey Gear, Gendron. I want to see your name right. Hey, I was told to come here by someone on another live. I'm glad they introduced me to you. Thank you, Casey. Thank you. Cassie. Oh, Lamb's the one who introduced you? Great. Oh, we love Lamb's Grace. Lamb's the good lamb. Good lamb. I'm happy that you came. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. I was just getting ready to talk about solution culture, which is awesome. You guys are right in time for what the big thing is here, the big thing that we do. Sassy Cassie. I like it. Oh, no. Okay. It's like Sassy. Cassie. Got you. Okay, Cassie. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Let me tell you about solution culture. Yeah, this is a concept I have. This is about fixing the generational issue, right, that we have in this world and how you can do it. See, I realized a long time ago that a lot of the problems that we face today, they came at us, they happened, and they've happened over several generations, right? Through demoralization of several generations. And the only way that we're going to change that is by arming future generations with the correct tools and understanding and protections they need to become stronger individuals mentally, to resist this information age of deception that happens in this world, right? So without going overboard, it's really simple stuff and it's really helpful that can I scroll in? Barely. Okay. So hopefully you can see that okay. Let's see what it looks like on big screen. Geez. Not that great. Maybe I'll go back to the other board. Well, the solution culture is about this, right? These things, uh, enabling putting the trivium education back into schools at a young age. That's teaching children logic and how to avoid fallacies and how to detect false premises. So that keeps them safe from deceit, from disinformation, and other things. You know, by making it part of their young culture, you can make it part of the future. And so the idea in solution culture is to change the education to stop subversive enablement that's going on right now, because our children are not being raised to be to resist the information based world that we're in. And part of that is also having media studies, which is right here. Oh, Jesus, what did I just do? Okay, it's right here. Um, more earlier education on media studies and media analysis, media literacy. This is the world. This is the information age world. We're moving fast. AI is here. Kids need to understand how information works and how it's made. Right. Um, and a lot of other initiatives like clean, real food and water, make America healthy again. That's happening. We're happy about that. Understanding the real philosophy of liberty, what it means to own your rights, to own your life, right? What it means to have free will, things of that nature. With the philosophy of liberty has been taken out of schools, it needs to be retaught. Imagine a whole generation being raised on the trivium, the philosophy of liberty, the Socratic method, critical thinking, right? And repairing our history. I did a long series called Repairing History with Thomas Sowell as the feature. Thomas Sowell has done a great job repairing our history, putting facts, omitted facts back into history that open eyes and heal division, right? That put us everybody on an equal playing field and makes everybody understand that we're all in this together. Repairing our history is critical, and making sure that we're not abusing people by omitting history. It's abuse to omit history. Having real information, and guarding that information, guarding it from subversion, not allowing subversion, cultural Marxism, critical theory into our schools, into our media, and into our politics. And that's that, and keeping our parental rights, so important. And what have I just done? Oh no. Oh no. I did something bad. Hold on. Clicked. I clicked and clacked. What did you do? Oh my God. Okay. Hold on. Luckily, I have something that's going to back this up. Where is that? All right. Uh, I clicked off on my solution culture screen. I want to read it like this. No. Let's go back. Wait, can I go forward? Oh yeah, I can. All right. Go, but it's not there. All right. I'm just gonna click it in here. All right, so this will work. All right. So here we go. I kind of just took a screen grab of it and put it back in. Oh man. Don't click around a grok, man. All right, here we go. So you saw the exclusive culture. Let's talk about what it is. Um, so the fifth veil, solution culture, is the one that pulls down the other veils. The veils of deception, perception. The veils of deception that are up to keep us locked into narratives that aren't true, so that we don't see the cycle of abuse that powers the cycle of control. Your analysis of the fifth veil, and hey, yeah, what did you say out here, Lambs? I saw this a minute ago. Yuri, yes, Yuri. I did a big I've done 2 streams on Yuri. The ultimate guide, or the complete guide to ideological subversion featuring Yuri Bezmenov is out there. It's in this playlist, Unveiling Reality playlist. And yes, Yuri is yeah, Yuri's like one of if we had a Mount Rushmore here, Yuri would be on it. Let's put it that way. Yuri would. Cool. The link's been posted, so there you go. You can see the complete rundown on it. In fact, when I first started the channel, I did this series called Valley of the Shadows. It's very old, and but I used to have every week I'd talk about Yuri in some way. Like Yuri became a feature, but after we did all of his content the first time, and then I redid it on that link that that Shelly put out there. So yeah, Yuri, and tell you what, Cassie, since you are here and so excited about Yuri Bezmenov, let me tell you about a book called Big Intel by J. Michael Waller. That book takes it to the next level. Like everything you've learned from Yuri in that book, historical context, and an entire chapter dedicated to Yuri. You can't beat it. J. Michael Waller will become a favorite of yours as well. He's become a favorite of mine. He exposes the cultural Marxism that has subverted our country, how it happened. So if you're like me, you watch the Yuri stuff, you lit up, right? You saw, all of a sudden you saw it. You're like, you can't unsee it. It's everywhere. So where's it coming from? So you have a bunch of questions, right? Where did it come from? How's it still going on? All these things you got to try to figure out. So I spent a long time trying to figure this stuff out, right? I remember thinking back, well, is it the Chinese? Is it the Russians? Who is it, man? Who's doing this? And then I started realizing we're doing it to ourselves. That's a self-perpetuating thing, right? However, J. Michael Waller, Big Intel, that book gives you everything, all those questions you had the first time you watched the Erie stuff. All those things you needed answered that weren't answered in this lectures, though a lot was, right? And I happen to have just did a reading of that book in my Unrated the Game series over on Rumble. There's a playlist just for you called Big Intel. And you go check that one out. You can do the read alongs with us. You can hear my reactions. Also do a kickoff show and then some content at the end where you do additional interviews with J. Michael Waller, who talks more and more about the cultural Marxism infiltration of our intelligence communities and how they got to the place that they are and how we're going to fix them. So I think you will really, 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 really enjoy that book. And if you haven't read it yet, you can read it or you can listen to it with us. And I hope you will like it. So every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, I have a show called Under the Game where we read audiobooks. We're now on our fifth one. The one we're reading right now is Kash Patel's Government Gangsters. We're about 3 episodes into that. So we're about on chapter 8, I think. So we're getting ready to start chapter 8, 9, and 10 or something next time. So if you want to come hang out with us and read books, we do that. Anyways, there's all that stuff and more. So let's read about solution culture because we gotta get on to getting here after that. All right. So here we go. Sorry about clicking off of that. I hope it's as good as the last one I saw. I just cut and pasted it in because I have it like it was like unformatted. So your analysis of the fifth veil solution culture captures a comprehensive vision for societal transformations through proactive and constructive means. Here's a breakdown of your insights, enhancing them with additional context. Core theme and vision, proactive solutionism. Proactive solutionism. I should get a shirt that says that. Proactive solutionism. The emphasis on moving beyond merely critiquing societal issues, yes, to actively designing and implementing solutions. This is perfect. The veil represents a philosophical and practical shift towards a culture where solving problems is ingrained in daily life and institutional practices. Thank you, Lord. I've been trying to say this. I've been trying to say this for a year or more. I don't even know how long I've been doing this. How long is it? What time is it? I've been trying to say this exact statement forever. And I'm trying to get it out. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it to everybody. This is it. Let me put it back on the main screen here. This is it. This is what I've been trying to say. I've been trying to describe proactive solutionism. And I'm going to read it one more time. The emphasis on moving beyond merely critiquing societal issues to actively designing and implementing solutions. This veil represents a philosophical and practical shift towards a culture where solving problems is ingrained in daily life and institutional practices. Key components: educational reform, critical thinking, encouraging educational systems to foster critical analysis rather than passive acceptance, mentoring the Socratic method, trivium education, and ideas from Thomas Sowell highlights a commitment to education that challenges students to think independently and historically. Empowerment. Education should empower individuals to participate in shaping society, not just consume information. That's right. Stop subversive enablement. This involves a systematic overhaul to prevent the continual continuation of manipulative practices or narratives. It calls for transparency in government, media, and education, aiming to dismantle structures that perpetuate control or misinformation. Amen. Hell yeah. Empathy as a change agent. I believe in this. Empathy can change the world. Promoting empathy suggests a societal model where understanding and compassion driven drive policy and interpersonal interactions, potentially leading to more humane and inclusive societies. Well, naturally, right? My idea behind that statement that I put on social culture, empathy can save the world, was this was that if you can remember that we were all born innocent, love, and light, little babies, right? And it was the world that corrupted us, turned us, changed us, made us, formed us, our experiences, our conditions, the people that were in it, the society that we had no choice. We had no choice on how it was when we were born into it. It's only the only thing we can do is become wise to it and change it, right? That's what I mean. Like when you're mad at someone, you want to hurt somebody, you kind of mean, whatever they want to hurt you. If you guys could just remember when you were little kids, little babies, toddlers, and whatnot, you would have played together, right? You would have played together and you would have had fun and you weren't worried about whatever the hell's pissing you off right then, right? If you could just remember that we were all that way at one point, especially if you're a parent, it's real easy to forgive somebody and forget things and let things go. It would save the world in a lot of ways. We wouldn't want to go to war. We wouldn't want to blow each other up. We wouldn't want to hurt each other. We wouldn't want to do bad things to each other. We'd let those emotions pass quickly. Just try to see a little baby there next time. Remember that person. Somebody loved them. Somebody loved them. They loved somebody. They were sweet at one point. That's what I'm talking about empathy. Really putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, conditions, remembering all the important things we've learned in our life. And that's what I meant by that. So it did a pretty good job interpreting that. Information freedom. This underscores the need for unhindered access to information, where guardians could be journalists, educators, or activists dedicated to truth telling, akin to the roles of envisioned by whistleblowers or investigative journalists. I still have some work to do on that part, but for the most part, what I'm trying to say is let's not let it slide backwards. Let's not let the infiltration of cultural Marxist ideas and subversion and divisiveness, false premises, fallacies, grifts. So let's find a way to keep. I think education is the key, but to keep things free, but also keep them based. That's all I'm trying to figure out right there. Then, like I said, social culture is about all of us putting this together. Like I just laid out some stuff, right? Things I think are important, but I need everybody that's interested in becoming part of solution culture to add to this board to where it's filled up with so many great ideas, right? That's solution culture when we're all doing it, right? Parental rights. Acknowledging the role of families in education implies a cultural shift towards valuing parental involvement in shaping not just their children's education, but their moral and ethical foundations. Yes, because man, every time you hear the word mandate, and they're trying to take away your parental right when it comes to health, it comes to anything. When they mandate you, they mandate the kid. Then they're telling the kid what to do. Your parental rights are out the door. Getting parents re-involved in education, not letting non-parents bully parents into doing what they want, controlling their kids' education, controlling the outcome of what their kids are doing. They need to take a back seat to parental rights. Overrides that. Overrides the government. Overrides everything. Parental rights come first. They have to come first, and they should be in the Constitution as a inalienable right that cannot be ever trampled on by government. I am all for a parental rights amendment to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, right? It needs to be added like yesterday. So that way, all these groomers, all these woke cultural Marxists who think they're going to get inside our kids' heads, right, and control their education and their health and what goes into their body and their minds, you got another thing coming. All right. Unrigging the game. This component aims at leveling the playing field, ensuring that societal opportunities are accessible based on merit rather than manipulation or legacy. Yeah, get rid of the DEI, right? Get rid of the deep state, the corrupt justice system, the corruption in general. We deserve a fair chance and an honest system to live in, don't we? We deserve that, right? We do. Enlightenment. Here, enlightenment is seen as both personal and collective. aiming for a societal awakening where knowledge, ethics, and mutual respect guide actions, not fake virtues, not some kind of divisive race-based, gender-based kind of hierarchy, right? Disguised as some virtuous, altruistic movement that's really just another form of oppression and racism, right? We're trying to move away from that. We don't want any of that stuff, right? We want that to go away. And then the cultural Marxists just won't let it happen. So we got to make sure that they go away. Ending cultural Marxism is on the agenda. And the way we do that is we remove the enablement. We remove the enablement for their dirty tricks to work. The trivium education, all the things in solution culture I'm naming, removes the enablement for corruption and for ideological subversion. The key components that Marxists need to be successful. That's what solution culture is about. Practical applications, tech and media studies. Yes. Using technology and media, not just for consumption, but for education and activism, turning these tools into means for societal betterment. Well, what I meant there was, and I need to correct that a little bit for the record, is that they need to understand how media works. What are these flashing images coming into my head? How do they work? Where do they come from? How music affects us, how imagery affects us, how colors. I mean, there's just so much that you can learn. But the younger kids learn how media is really made, right? Movies aren't real. Some kids don't even know that. Some kids don't get the understanding of how a movie is made or why, or that these are just actors. They really aren't these people you're seeing. People really don't act that way in real life. You need to tell kids that, or they'll begin to adopt the behavior they see on TV. That was a big thing with Gen X. They put us in front of TVs and no one told us anything. We started acting like the television, right? Television will rot your brain, right? And it sure did. I mean, hang around Gen X for long enough, you'll hear some comedy, some TV comedy come popping out of them. Movie trivia. We're all about it, right? And I'm paying attention to you, chat. I'm glad you guys are having a good time talking because I'm reading. I'm reading right now. I'll be right back. Okay. Environmental and health advocacy, right? Focusing on clean water and clean food and water. There's a clear directive towards environmental stewardship and public health as foundational elements of social well-being. Let me elaborate on that a little bit. I'm talking about clean real food. Right? I'm talking about the same thing that RFK Jr. is talking about. Right? I'm talking about curing the chronic illness epidemic, right? And stopping the abuse of people through chemicals. They're abusing us. They're lowering our quality of life. They're causing diseases and malfunctions in kids before they even have a chance, right? They're dumping chemicals in our water. We've covered all this on Old School Watch Party Sunday, the fluoride deception, GMOs, seeds of death, all that stuff, right? And they're doing it maliciously and at a profit. That is abuse, the cycle of abuse. Anything, solution culture, anything to remove enablement, the cycle of abuse. But my God, we should be allowed to eat clean, real food and drink clean water. I mean, what kind of place do we live in where it's okay to poison the people that live there, right? And then tell them it's good for you. It's good. Now, bullshit. That stops. That's what I'm talking about right there. Easy enough, right? Simple enough. The philosophy of liberty. Drawing from libertarian thought, this suggests promoting systems where individual freedom and responsibility are central, echoing the philosophies of figures like Ron Paul. Now, I put that in there because Ron Paul did a great job on reintroducing the philosophy of liberty, talking about how your life, it gives you the rights that you get. You have that the government can't take that away from you. How you need to be self-sufficient, how you need to be able to be self-sufficient, how you need to be how you need to live free, right? How important your liberties are and that they come from your life and how important life is because of that, right? The philosophy of liberty, it's not taught, but that's what our founders based our country on. That's the basic core principles of Americanism, right? That should be countering cultural Marxist ideas, right? As Yuri would tell us. But it's not. And he says, Generations of young American children have had cultural Leninist Marxist ideas pumped into their head with nothing to counter it. In fact, the more people that graduate under the influence of that evil idea known as Marxism, right? The more that remove the Americanism from the curriculums, the less the generations have gotten it. The philosophy of liberty should be taught early as possible. Understanding what liberty means and freedom means, and how you keep it, how you must hang on to it, and who was after it. Right? Let's call the bad guys out early. But that's Ron Paul. That's the senior. And he would go around the country when he realized that he couldn't defeat the neocons back in the day. But he did run twice, and I supported him twice, and I helped as best I could. But he spent a lot of his time going to colleges and talking about the philosophy of liberty. Many, many, many campaign speeches were philosophy of liberty speeches. And he helped reignite the fire of liberty, known as one of the fathers of liberty now. He helped reignite the fire of liberty in a whole new generation of kids. So we owe him a lot, and we should continue that work. And as seeing how effective it was, and to where MAGA got preceding his runs, the Ron Paul revolution, that is. The Ron Paul revolution, all right? Not to be confused with his son Rand, who does a pretty decent job as a senator, but didn't have what it takes to be the president or run for the nomination. All right. Overall impact from critique to action. The fifth veil, that's solution culture, right? It sits beyond all the other bad veils. We need to tear them down. Cycle control needs to go. Cycle abuse needs to go. And we need to get back to base reality. And when you have that, you don't have an establishment and an alternative narrative. You just have base reality. That's the narrative, right? The narrative is the truth. That's all it should be. So the fifth veil represents a shift from analysis to action. That's what I'm talking about. That's what drove me crazy. There is no, oh, sorry, I should be reading it like this. But there is no solutions in the second veil. There's no solutions in the first veil. There's band-aids everywhere, and there's a bunch of stuff. There's band-aids in the first veil. Well, we'll do this for now, never addressing the root cause issues, never stopping the generational cycle that's going on, right? So it's just a matter of time before people age out again, and they got to go through this cycle again. We keep going through the same cycle. We have to stop it. This is the way it goes. Oh, good night, Kay. Take care. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Countering. Here we go. One more time. From critique to action, the fifth veil represents a shift from analysis to action, embodying a cultural ethos where every individual is both a critic and a creator of the society they live in. Beautiful. Countering cultural subversion by focusing on these broad solutions. Solution culture directly addresses the long-term impact of ideological subversion, aiming to rebuild societal norms with values like truth, fairness, and a respect at their core. Yes. Your summary encapsulates a vision of societal renewal through education, empathy, and ethical action, aiming for a world where these values not only counteract negative influences, but also actively promote a more enlightened, equitable, and I guess in the good way, and cohesive society. Pretty good. I might clean that up a little bit. The one thing I wanted to make sure that's in there, and I need to add, and I'm going to save this and leave this up so I can take some screenshots of it the way it is. But that, the solution culture is about preventative measures as well, to keep the cycle, to break the cycles of abuse and control, right? And to make sure that they never rear their ugly heads again. Because this is part of the problem that we face. And this is why so many people in the second veil out there in the abyss are frustrated, and like I said, the way that that you're in the abyss is that there's no solutions anywhere, right? All these guys you're listening to telling you it's this, telling you it's that, telling you it's that, they don't have any solutions for you. How are you going to stop all these things you're talking about? I don't know. Right? This is solution culture. Remove the enablement for corruption. Implement the generational fixes. Watch the world change for the better. Our generation the people that are listening to me right now, that's you, right? It's our jobs to be the catalyst for this. I believe that we have the opportunity right now to do this. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I'm talking about what I'm talking about. That's why I cover what I cover. That's why I get involved with what I get involved with, right? And yeah, I ruffle some feathers, especially for people that are fixated on a belief system that doesn't necessarily hold water, right? I could frustrate a lot of people, but I'm really trying to reach out to you. And I hope that if you are lost in the abyss, that this show helped you. I really do. I want it to be good for you. And I want to see you hanging out. And I want you to be part of solution culture. And when you're tired of just talking about stuff and not getting any answers, and you're ready for that solution mindset and you're ready to do something, you come on back. You're going to be very welcome here. And we will do it together. All right. So let me go back to this awesome crowd here and tell you, thank you so much, Cassie. I'm just gonna call you Cassie because I'm not sure how to say your last name. Gendron, Cassie Gendron, for coming by today. Lamb's Grace, thank you so much for bringing Cassie over. I love Bring a Friend night. Gen X, yeah, flex it on. If you come one night, you might see me in my Gen X shirt. It's really D Generation X, but it's close enough. All right. Teach your children critical thinking. Schools are not teaching it. Yeah. And until we do it, we're going to have a chance to do it by embracing our future. We're going to have a chance to do it. I promise you that. If anything, as I'm learning my new crafts, my new trades, I will be building and thinking of building ways to implement solution culture. Why wait for anybody else to do it? The time is now. The time is here. And the tools that we need to do it are at our hands. It's easier than ever. If I could tell you guys exactly how fast things are moving right now in technology, I'd blow your mind. I need another hour, though. I'm not going to bore you with it. Take my word for it. That's one thing you can take on faith. It's moving fast. All right. Final words from the crowd. Lamb's Grace, thank you so much. Peace and blessings to you. God bless you, Lamb's Grace. Gen X, any final words from the crowd before we get on to out of here? We went about 17 minutes. All right. It's all right. This is an important one. I hope you guys enjoyed those takes on the first and second veil, the abyss, and the fifth veil solution culture. I'm gonna have to keep going. I'm gonna have to keep doing this and working with it because, man, I need help. I need help wording this stuff, man. I need help. I need help. That right there. You're gonna see a lot of these quotes go up on the board. So some of these quotes were just epic, I think. When it comes to solution culture, man, that last part, pretty good. I like to save it. I'll retype them. But yeah, and I need to remember not to do things while I'm in the middle of a stream, right? All right, there we go. All right, cool. All right, get out and out of here. All right, cool. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow night at 7:30-ish for Winning Tonight, political analysis of the day's top stories. The Thursday edition, well, yeah, it'll probably be a lot of different stuff, right? There's usually one show where I cover a bunch of different things, and it's usually one show where I focus on things. So that's what I'm trying to do, right? For now, at least. But I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you being here this evening. I hope you enjoyed the content. You guys, if you're here, you're part of the solution. And wherever you're at, whether you're on Rumble, YouTube, or X, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it so much. And I will see you soon. And until that time, each and every one of you, stay based and keep on.
This is a friendship battle.